Only 13 participants have joined it, so we can wait for 2 more minutes.
No worries, no worries. We'll take our time.
Good morning, Vivek. Satish here.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Hi,
Gaurav.
Satish ji.
Good morning, Gaurav.
Good morning. Okay, so let's start. Good morning to all of you, respected keynote speakers. We are gathered here to organize the 4-week technology-based entrepreneurship development program focused on bioentrepreneurship. Today is the module 5. Business plan preparation will be discussed by 2 eminent speakers, Vivek Suman sir as well as Golock Chandra Sahu sir. So let me introduce first Mr. Vivek Suman sir. He is the member board of director, MIT World Peace University. He helps startup and holding companies alike to prepare and execute M&A life cycle, including raising fund and creating sustainability programs. Through the development of winning financial model and deal structure, Vivek sir has taken small businesses, SWFs, and government company through IPO and private placement in India and the Middle East. In addition to advising and completing the merger and acquisition as a former Big 8 GT transaction advisor, he is also enjoying the leading to the finance team as CFO and implementing those M&A models. He is experienced financial sector professional with over 20 years of experience, including board of directorship and executive leadership role. Currently, he is serving as a board of director at MIT World Peace University, College of Commerce, supporting program development and preparing a student for the finance career. He is skilled in corporate strategy, investment banking, and business process re-engineering, with the proficiency in regulated sectors, system, and technology. He is recognized as a leader in the field, receiving multiple CFO of the Year award and renowned for the successful merger and acquisition. A collaborative and result-oriented professional dedicated to fostering talent and driving the organizational growth. He is regarded as a leader in the sector and has serviced 3 CFO of Year award in a row from the Transformance India CFO Story Club honors in 2022 and 2023. So I would very happy to invite our keynote speaker, Vivek sir, to address the participant. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, Vice Chancellor Sir, Gaurav ji, and fellow faculty members. Welcome students who are aspiring to start their businesses or taking it to the next step. Ladies and gentlemen, today's workshop, as arranged by your college, is on working capital management. In India context, in the business, a dynamic business scenario which we have, Indian tech company has seen a remarkable growth in last few years, embracing deep tech, artificial intelligence, data economy, and high performance computing as a new area along with the bioengineering. This growth has a lot to surge and become unicorns. We have written a new chapter in unicorn story with 108 companies reaching to the level of $1 billion in revenue and valuation. This growth has led to a surge not only in the unicorns, but also in the startup sector. With the impetus from Government of India and Modi ji initiatives, we have seen from 50,000 startups reaching to a lakh within a year and a half. These numbers are about to now go in exponential growth, where our IT minister has recently announced in Hyderabad that Startup India will reach to 10 lakh startups registered under the Indian government domain. Unicorns are not going to be left behind. We are at the cusp that within 4 to 5 years, we will see approximately 10,000 startups reaching to the $1 billion mark. These numbers are not airy as it sounds. It has a lot of substance, which we have seen in last few years happening in a lot of cities around you. The ecosystem itself is developing. However, the challenges are not less any longer as well. We have challenges in terms of raising capital and maintaining those businesses to the level where it reaches. And there are several examples of those where the non-management or mismanagement of your capital, including working capital, leads to a complete kind of disaster. We are seeing well-known names like Byju's, Goya, etc. are touching the ground as well. Baizu has a good example where you have seen a valuation of 22 billion US dollar. The zeros there are more than 9 in rupees term, reaching back to a level of $8 billion in last round of valuation by international investor. So thereby my aim today, along with you, we will try to address these challenges, at least a specific capital, which leads by raising virtual hands, actual hands, as well putting question answer session their questions. And I will be happy stopping and answering those first. So let me ask you first question and see your hands, virtual hands or real hands if possible, to my question, which is related to when I'm comparing a business unit, which you try to understand in the startup ecosystem, to human anatomy. I see Gaurav ji is laughing already. Why I'm saying, because we are exactly interconnected like a human being. You are a bio entrepreneur, right? Or you are trying to make one. The interconnectedness of human body reflects exactly in a business organization too. For me, brain is a leadership and decision-making issue. Heart is a core value and culture of a company. A skeleton is organizational structure, while nervous system, which connects your head to all the body, is communication and coordination in a business structure. While muscles are employee and execution, the circulatory system is key to everything, which is our vein, is our finance allocation or resource allocation altogether, all 5 resources. Immune system nowadays is very important after COVID, and that is your risk management. All these 7 parameters creates a human anatomy comparison to a business. So let me ask you a question which lies here. Give me yes, you can use your chat box or your YouTube channel in the comment box or raising by your virtual hand. If you agree that finance or the veins is where the blood circulates is critical, along with the funding, is critical to any businesses. Give me a yes if you believe that finance is critical to all other aspects which plays here. Okay, so I see Galgothia's team is giving a good response here. Okay, I will wait. Human Rights raises his hand and says yes. I hope he's saying yes. Okay, in chat box also, I start seeing people are saying yes. Dr. Hanuman says yes. Correct, Kuldeepji. Absolutely true. So this question was actually to just give you importance that how finance plays a critical role in the whole scenario. Now, let me present you a brief impact case story. Simple story on mismanagement of our working capital in India. I know by seeing the aircraft, everybody knows it, but let me play a little 1 minute video first, and then I will give you the brief of the story. Let me know if video plays. It's a story of Indian aviation sector.
Sir, if you want to share the
Sound is not there?
Yeah, no, sir.
Just a minute. Sound is not coming, you're saying?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay, I think
You can
just
see it, sir. There is a 3-dot option.
where is it? The top?
Sir, yeah, at the top, sir.
Okay, clear. Video
At the
panel.
top, there will be a 3-dot option.
Yeah, got it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here
Yes.
it goes. Let me know, give me a thumbs up.
Well, the big story that we continue to track, there is turbulence in Indian skies again as another airline is strapped for cash. Go First has decided to file for bankruptcy.
The airline has stopped all flights. Reports say there is a severe shortage of funds. Reports also say that Go First owes more than $800 million to its creditor.
Now, Go First has blamed Pratt & Whitney not only for faulty engines but also for its insolvency.
Unfortunately, Pratt & Whitney, the engine manufacturer, has completely deceived us.
Go First has been granted bankruptcy protection by the National Company Law Tribunal.
So basically what has happened here, let me give you a brief. As you see, the Pratt & Whitney engines have started failing for Go Air the last couple of years now. They were about to go to IPO, big bang IPO. The sales reduced. As you see, these aircrafts number started reducing. The variable cost, which is generally the jet fuels, the infrastructure which gets attached to an airline, like air, bridge, etc., which you take on daily basis from the government, also reduce accordingly. So there was no problem up to here. The problem started, so there was a gross profit in the business. Problem started when the fixed cost, which is little sticky cost, which can be your inventory, people, generally the crew and the pilots, which will cost a lot to airline company, specifically to the low cost airline company, remains the same. You see all these ladies, the air crew were there. They could not leave in the time. However, the finance costs started spiraling up. So that remains heavy burden to this company. And thereby the net profit tanked like anything. They started reporting losses month on month and then year on year. In the turbulent journey of Go Air, one crucial lesson stood out, which was importance of working capital. So let me give you a little more brief on this case study. As the airline faced challenges of failing engines, the sharp decline of income, it became evident that the robust working capital management strategy was missing and could not have mitigated the severity of the crisis. The working capital often reflect a lifeblood of a company, as we agreed, all of you have agreed. It's a blood in the system of any business, which encompasses the funds needed to cover your day-to-day operation cycle, which means payment of the employee, maintaining the inventory of your aircraft, maintaining the websites, and meet short-term financial obligations, which you have taken. So that long-term, finances also has a short-term positions. So you buy most of the airlines buys their aircraft at lease. They say wet lease or dry lease. That kills your profitability and requires an additional fund to be infused. Having said that, for Go Air, the lack of adequate working capital meant they have to scramble for the short-term funding on daily basis. Their CFO struggled. Same like me, guys sitting there, was running bank to bank to arrange this short-term capital. Even though the group is quite large, the group owns Go Air is Wadia Group. They produces Britannia biscuit, which we eat every day with the tea. This reliance on external source on finance, coupled with fixed costs, which I just told you, like employee, remained constant during the grounding of aircrafts, significantly strained the company resources and pushed it to the closer to bankruptcy. However, the Go Air team was smarter. They voluntarily went for the bankruptcy and got protected through NCLT, as we heard in the video. That's another game. We will for another lecture. Let's move on. What was the importance of working capital here? The proactive approaches of managing working capital, which right now 3 companies in the airline industry itself is doing, is SpiceJet, Go Air, and as well as Air India, which are just reported at least operating profit in positive. Would have, in case of Go Air, would have helped, to create sufficient liquidity and would have provided cushion to observe impact on unexpected setbacks where P&W engines were failing. The story of Go Air serves a stark reminder to all of us who is trying to understand finance or a startup ecosystem. Because this company was about to go for IPO, a very important process in the startup ecosystem, is a vital role of working capital. It highlights the need of a strategic and vigilant approach to financial management, with particular attention given to the maintaining adequate level of working capital to navigate uncertain times, which right now Go Air is facing. By prioritizing working capital management, company can enhance their resilience, agility, of course, means day-to-day changing their form and creating effectiveness in the business and enabling them to handle such kind of unforeseen circumstances. As Go Air emerged from the brink of bankruptcy, gentlemen and ladies, it learned a valuable lesson with a newfound appreciation for the significance of working capital. NCLT process is quite cruciating and very difficult to handle. However, Wadia is again in the fray to take over the business back from NCLT because it was their strategy as they got approval from Singapore court that Pratt & Whitney has to give immediately the engines which are failing, bringing back the airline into execution. Along with bankers are agreeing now to refund the working capital as well as the long-term capital for the company and bringing into the same because everybody interest is entangled there. So in conclusion, and before we go in nitty-gritty of working capital, and trust me, the way I will explain, you will understand if you know a little bit of maths, at least addition, subtraction. And you will understand step by step that how to control your business tomorrow, or when you are imparting such studies to your student, how they should approach it. Go Air underlines the crucial role of working capital for the survival and success of the business. It emphasizes the need for the business to manage their working capital effectively by understanding different approaches of assessment, different approaches of management. I will try to cover most of it within 1.5 hours, but of course it will be a monumental task to cover everything. So I will try to keep as much as possible where you can get as a benefit and you can apply into your business as well as when you are imparting under your pedagogy, when you are imparting your teachings. Let's go and see the current status, why the basics. Let's understand the basics, okay? Getting funded for any startup is a game of a skilled and informed. It is the mindset we say is important. And once you understand where you are playing in this game, you will be able to play it better. So let me give you some statistics of the market right now. Bio-entrepreneurship requires, of course, immense courage and determination, which you guys have taken as a journey to take. There are good case studies on that, which I will try to cover in my working capital scenario as well. which is one of them will be Biocon. Is this company Biocon is relating to bioengineering or the area which you guys are doing? Gaurav sir, if you can tell me. Or guys, if team members, if you have any suggestions here. So I can take that case study and explain you the working capital management system.
Yes, dear participant, please unmute yourself and interact, make this session interactive. So you can also put in the chat box, or you can also raise your hand.
So just let me know if Biocon is a related case study to show you. Is this industry where you wish to aspire to go? Okay. Dr. Hanumanji has raised hand. Okay, I'm giving him to unmute. That's okay, Gauravji, right?
Good morning,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Can you start your camera, Gauravji? So it will be helpful for other participants. Hanumanji, so other participants know who we are. Okay, I can see you. Wonderful.
Yes.
Go
Sir,
ahead.
I'm working as an assistant professor in Nagaland Central University,
Wonderful, wonderful.
and
Hanumanji.
my major is biotechnology only.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship is an MBA and other courses who are undergoing in this is not directly part of me, but
Okay.
this is the new era, so we have to enter in these cases also. So that's why I joined this workshop.
Program. Lovely, lovely. So definitely you are getting benefited, and today's program also will increase your understanding of the business as well, for sure.
Indeed, sir. Indeed, sir.
So welcome, Doctor. What do you think? Biocon is a relative industry to talk today?
Sir, actually, every industries who are working need the financial things, and
Absolutely.
everyone will have to see the market things, because always it is related with always every factors.
Correct, correct, Doctor. Absolutely, I agree with you. So that's quite an interesting take there. So all businesses are same, and Biocon is no different. So I will take that. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, anybody else wants to contribute here, or shall we move on with our understanding of working capital? Okay, so as nobody has raised hand, moving on. Mute, clear. Okay, so let's discuss about how well our industry is getting funded. And this is the study which Avendus Capital, which is in equity market quite aggressive, Dr. Hanuman, Dr. Tej has published a story. They told that it is challenging endeavor to take reliance on a strategic expertise and access valuable insight, and ultimately favoring those who are well informed and highly skilled. These are the people who are getting right now money, who are informed at least or high skilled. So what is the borrowing gap in MSME, which is applicable to a startup? The right now funding demand is USD dollar in billion, I'm talking, is 1,955. That's what people are asking from banks or other entities. Out of that, of course, debt demand is $819 billion, US dollar billion. But the demand fulfilled is quite astonishing. That is 1/3 of that number, approximately 289 US dollar billion is only getting funded. This is the last year statistics which Avendus Capital has published. Now, if you understand the scenario, which means that out of 3 people, only 1 is able to maintain its capital or working capital properly. Of course, working capital requires another study, but let's understand that if you are not proactive, you will be left behind in this exercise. That's what it means. So, given this statistics, let's understand why we need capital. So generally, capital are 2 types. Basically, there are 3 types, but well-known are 2 types. One is the long-term fund, and another is short-term fund. Third one, which is critical as well, you can only find those in studies as well in practical scenarios, research and practical scenarios rather than in the books, are a spontaneous funding nowadays. Yeah, for which there is a private sector called fintech is contributing big time. So that's another area altogether. We will not discuss that. So a startup company requires these two kind of funding, long-term and short-term, and having access to both long-term and short-term funding is crucial for the success and growth of a startup entrepreneur, because this enables them to support their business. For example, long-term, which is used for the strategizing their capital structure throughout their existence, generally 0 to 20 years, people take as a horizon. You can take 5-year, 10-year, 20-year. You can raise these funds from capital market, okay? So mostly the equity or debt, you can go to the capital market and borrow this fund. While the short-term is a system, it doesn't have a place where you can borrow it. It generally happens in the bank over the counter or investment bank over the counter, which requires below 1 year funding requirement. So these are the two major important capital which are required. Now let's focus to working capital, which is a part of short-term capital, and why we need this capital to manage our business. Let's define the working capital first of all. So of course, I'm not giving the bookish definition, but this will help you to understand it better. Working capital is operational liquidity. So it is a cash which an entrepreneur can use when he's thinking about growth, diversification, expansion, or certain uncertain in market environment like COVID, etc., where there is no money, no sale happening. In that case, you need this working capital. Now, two major concepts which we will discuss this today throughout our 1.5 hours, and we have already crossed 20 minutes, will be working capital as concept, which is gross working capital and net working capital, and current ratio. These are the only two formula which I use daily basis as a CFO. I want you to understand. Rest all liquidity formulas you can learn throughout your career and journey in a startup, which can be liquidity, profitability, all that you can learn very easily. But these two are key for you to manage your liquidity and sustain your business, along with bringing growth which you require. Now, working capitals is basically current asset, okay? And I will define all this in the discussion later. Minus current liability is actually net working capital. A lot of people try to manage this net working capital through short-term fund, which is a wrong strategy in itself. You have to take a longer horizon for managing this net working capital. While gross working capital, which is all the debt which people owes to you, yeah. So they took your supplies, they took your sales, and they didn't pay you, can be also funded through working capital, and that is called gross working capital. Where we are missing, of course, the liability like purchases of certain raw material or equipment which we have taken on the credit. Does this sound plausible for you guys up to here? Because I want to go step by step. I need you to put in the chat box why, so I know few of you at least are understanding. And of course, if none of you understand, please ask me repeat, and I will repeat that concept. Because these are the building blocks where I will put my whole structure of working capital management and assessment, which is today's talk. So use the chat box, please, and put yes. So at least I know, or thumbs up in the virtual sense, so I can know that I'm talking something which you can plausibly interact and understand. And if you want, and if you put repeat, I will take you to the simpler examples as well. So use the chat box and I will wait for, see how many of you have understood. Repeat, wonderful. So one person is saying repeat. What about others? How many of you have understood at least this part? We have 33 people, right? Which is quite high for such kind of events. Must be, I must tell you. So just write why if you can in the chat box. Use the chat box. I think it is visible on your screen, right? Chat box is visible?
Yes, sir, it is
because
visible.
only 3 people have responded till now. Gaurav, is the chat box is active?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is active, sir.
Okay, because I can't see any yes or no, so I'm really doubtful right now.
Sir, can you explain the B options, like current ratio equals to current asset divided by current liability?
Absolutely, I will explain. Absolutely, I will explain. Now, whole discussion, what I will do, I will show you with the example. Okay, so current asset divided by current liability and what impact it gives you. Understood. Few people understood. Good for now. I appreciate that. So let me explain you with the case of GoAir itself. Yeah. So current ratio in this case, what we do generally is we take a financial statement. Or in your case, if you have a business, what you need to do is you need to add all your current asset items, which includes inventory. It may be a raw material which you have purchased and kept into your warehouse. It can be your work in progress, which is going through the process of manufacturing. For example, manufacturing company, where it is under the process, under different processes. So right now it is a stage of packaging, yeah, or at a stage of conversion from, say, a cotton to cloth. That also you add. And then you finally add the finished good, whatever you have produced and lying into your warehouse to be sold, that also will be added. That is inventory. Yeah. So that inventory you take, plus you take the cash and near to cash items. For example, marketable security, which you put as a fixed deposit for 30 days, 60 days, below 1 year. Those also, which can be converted easily to cash, are part of cash. So that you add. You see, I think it is visible, right? The balance sheet of GoAir. So if you see, if I add cash, inventory, as well as the account receivable. So you sold cloth to a shop owner, but shop owner told you that, sir, I cannot pay you without I sell it to the customer, and thereby you give me the credit. Yeah. So he takes a credit from you. The credits, that part is called account receivable or the credit sales. In your balance sheet, it can be anywhere in the current asset side, and you add these three or other receivables together, yeah, which can be your prepaid expenses. Yeah, you paid rent, you generally pay upfront, right? So these all you added together, which is shown in here in the case of GoAir, a total current asset. Yeah, are you guys able to see this line? That's the total current asset. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the FY 2020 number of GoAir and putting it here for understanding purposes. So what happens here, that current asset is around, in crores, INR crore is 1,246 crores rupees. That was his current asset in 2020 when he reported and about to go for a IPO. They had a current liability, however, which was huge, which is generally the short term of the long term liability, which is due in 1 year time. So you pay quarterly your loan, right? Or you pay lease of this airlines on quarterly or monthly basis. Whatever up to 1 year is there, that item is part of current liability, along with, of course, short term debts, if you have any, like overdraft facility, cash credit cycle with the bank, etc. Along with purchases. In the case of cloth manufacturing, purchases where you're cotton, right? So you also buy from different wholesalers of cotton or from market with a credit. You tell them, sir, I will not pay you upfront, or I will pay you upfront 20%, and 80% I will give you in 60 or 90 days. That also is called credit purchase or account payable, which is you owe for your supplier. Now, if you add these 3-4 items which are listed here in this area, you get total current liability. In the case of GoAir, you see what was the number. It was 4,580. Now, negative working capital, a lot of friend of yours and chartered accountant will say it's the best business to do. Why? He will say you are taking people money and running your business. But I will show you in the case of GoAir, exactly this is what has gone wrong. And I will then give you a statistics. What are the standard norm for the industry? Being as a CFO, as an investment banker, which we know as a thumb rule. Yeah. So how many of you want to know thumb rule? Give me a yes, then only I will tell, otherwise you will skip that part. And let me explain Mr. Tej Hanumanta's request, doctor request about working capital and current ratio. If I get at least 10 yes, then only I will tell you what are the market norms. So you see, current asset was small, current liability in dark pink was larger. You have a negative working capital. Now, I told you a formula just on the previous page, which was current asset divided by current liability give you the ratio. Now, that ratio in the case of Goya was very small. It was, you have to put 1,246 in numerator and divide that by denominator. I think all of you can do it in your computer calculator as well. Do that and you will get this number 0.3, which is much lesser than 1. 1 and above is always ideal. Yeah. So you are running at creditors' money, your business, but you Goya faced, what did they face? They faced the bankruptcy. You cannot sustain it over a longer period of time. So this is the case when the negative working capital, which is sometime it is good, and chartered accountant tells you it is good, but it hampers your businesses. That's why you need a financial guy to work with you. Clear? Sir, the person who asked me the question, I didn't notice his name, but I think does this answer? Put yes if it does answers your query. And then I will show you another good case of Biocon where it was on the better side. Yeah. So I will wait for your yes if you have understood it. And repeat, Hanumantaji has asked, so I'm asking him as well. Kuldeep, thank you if you have understood. Wonderful. Yeah. So now let's go and understand a better case, which is a case of Biocon, which is another bioengineering or biosimilar business they do very heavily, run by one of the best woman entrepreneur in India. Anybody who knows the woman entrepreneur name of Biocon, please put in the chat box. And let me explain you the story of Biocon in current ratio terms. Yeah. So you see here, the current asset again involves 3 items. The first is your inventories, which is again raw material, work in progress inventory, and finished good inventory. In biosimilars, it will be certain kind of doses, or in serum industry, it will be vaccines as a finished stuff. Yeah, while in the raw material, maybe human corpus they might be using to create that virus. I don't know. I'm just mentioning as a joke. Yeah. Now that serum industry or Biocon has a raw material, work in progress, and finished good as a serum. These 3 are part of inventory, which was around 22 million INR. Yeah, and I will convert into crores to put it here in the deck which you are seeing. So 22,982 was their inventory. You see, the next item was financial asset. Yeah, under current asset, so they have done a lot of deposit where they are getting interest, which was huge. 56,000 million INR rupees was that number, which was much higher than their even inventory, which is their production part. And finally, they had other current assets, which may be their prepaid rents or prepaid expenses. These all together, if I take, gives me a number which was 8,365 crores rupees. That's the business of current asset Biocon has. Similarly, as I told you last time, they have liability. So we have to go to the liability side of balance sheet and check their current liability structure. So borrowings, of course, they had 9,055 million INR. They had other financial liability, which was 17,000. They had provisions for, these are non-current. So borrowings, other financial liabilities, income statement, all these together were 3,000 crore rupees. That was their total of other current liability. Now, if you take a difference between current asset minus current liability, you get a positive working capital. Am I right here? Am I making sense? There is a positive working capital here. And this positive working capital, if I convert into a ratio, which is between current asset to current liability, so 8,000 divided by approximately 4,000 will give you a number of 2. So they had a current ratio of, I'm just rounding it off, 2, which is greater than 1. And this scenario of working capital counted to be a healthy scenario. Okay, so I saw a lot of people saying, yes, Kiran Majumdar is the correct answer, Gauravji. I agree with you. Kiran Majumdar, Pranav, you are also correct there. C is the one who is heading it from bullseye and taking it from strength to strength. These are their last year numbers. So you can see how strong the company is. Yeah, they are maintaining a working capital of 2. That is ideal. Now, given that a lot of people have said, so I'm just taking their word and try to make them happy. Yeah, because they are encouraging me to give them the answer. These are the thumb rule which are available in the market. What are the thumb rule? So when, of course, current liability is better than current asset, it is a good scenario. It's a bad scenario for the business, good scenario for the founder, because I am running my business through loan. Yeah, through somebody else's money. I am not putting a single rupees. However, up to certain level, it is good. After certain level, it start hampering your business. Yeah. So you see, current ratio of 1.2 to 2 says that you are utilizing your working capital efficiently, which means current asset has to be larger than the current liability. It also means that company can easily meet their short-term liability. Yeah, and thereby they will not face any liquidity crunch, or liquidity crunch means bankruptcy. So they need not to be declared bankruptcy. And the first case, as you see, was the case of Goya, where the company cannot meet its short-term liability because it was minuscule, 0.3, not even in this ratio of 1.2 to 2. While the current ratio, which is ideal, is 1.2 to double of your current asset is double of your current liability, is the ideal case, and which was the case of Biocon. But there is another case, and that's why this topic becomes very critical and a kind of dilemma, because you cannot guess it all the time. And that's the case where your ratio of current asset, what I said is current asset being higher than the current liability is a good business to do. Bankers like it, people like it. Yeah. But the range is only 1.2 to 2. Anything beyond 3 again indicates that funds which bank or individual is putting it is locked in the current asset. And thereby it's not a good business, and it is the inefficient way of doing a business. Are you with me on this? Yeah. So that 3 is where the company is in comfortable position to meet his short-term liability. Of course, it's a 3 times. Current asset is 3 times. I have no problem. But it also says that you are not utilizing your cash or inventory, and it is keeping ideal. And for inventory, in fashion industry, every 6 months, they have to go for a sale. That's why you must have seen clothes sales comes much faster than any other sale. Yeah. And the reason is because they have kept the inventory for longer term, they have to now dilute those inventory, and they sell it at, of course, some discount to you, even sometime below their cost. Yeah. And that's the case of current ratio going above 3. So now you understood, right, that this business of working capital is quite tricky in a sense. So up to certain level is only it makes sense. After that level, it creates huge issues for a business. So if you are undercapitalized, which is current asset is lower than the current liability, you have a problem. If you are overcapitalized, you have the similar problem. And thereby the nature of working capital management, which is now I'm going to take you through quickly, that how to manage this beast. Yeah, this monster, how can you manage? Because both sides is an issue. It is a dynamic in nature, and that's the problem. You cannot plan it for a year even and keep silent or go and roam in Italy. You have to be always available, monitoring this working capital as an indicator on at least monthly or daily basis. It is a pivotal role. It plays a pivotal role in managing the wheel of your business enterprise. It does not work on autopilot mode, which is available in Tesla cars, or nowadays even Scorpio N, which people are putting a queue to buy. Yeah, you cannot do that in the case of working capital. You have to plan, monitor, and improvise. Remember these 3 words: plan, monitor, and improvise at the same time. And that's why we are learning today a working capital manager. It's a double-edged sword, of course. Yeah, it has both sides as sharp as possible. You cannot afford to be caught in between a devil and a deep blue sea of being undercapitalized or overcapitalized.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir. Dr. Hamanta, please go ahead.
How the asset will be more, it will be harmful.
Okay, good question there, sir. So let me tell you how it is harmful.
Generally means, as for the normal way, we used to think that we should have the more assets compared to the liabilities. And but you are saying it is what should be the in the proper way. So can you that's create the doubt?
Absolutely, Dr. Hamanta. Very wise question, very smart question. And I agree with you completely. This is not a common sense. Yeah, that's why it is a financial working capital sense. Why? I will tell you the reasons. There are 3 reasons why situation where, look, I told you that asset being higher than the liability, and specifically current asset being higher than the liability is good, but to a level which is 2. Means double, if the asset is double of your liability, that is up to there, it is fine, which was the case of Biocon. But if you exceed 3, what happens? Happens 3 things. First of all, what happened here is that your inventory has increased. What is the reason why your current asset will be higher? The first reason, you have lot of inventory lying into your stock, which was the case here, right? He has 22,000 million INR in inventory, Biocon, right? If you imagine they have 500,000 in that number, or 3 times, let's put it 3 times. So say 66,000 in inventory, what it means, or in account receivable, which means that you have sold. Yeah, so you have a revenue now. You have sold those inventory to somebody, which goes into account receivable, but you didn't receive the money. Yeah, so you have to compare with your, now you have to do the other profitability ratios as well. So you have to check with your sales to this ratio, yeah, where you stand. But I'm just giving you a trick. The trick is current ratio straight away, which indicates that now you have to fund, because you are not receiving any money, but you have to pay to your supplier, right? Supplier will not wait. For example, bank loan, the interest will wait. You will default for one time. First of all, they will send you gundas to your house. If you are a corporate, they will say you are getting NPA now. Yeah, next credit will be higher cost. These are the repercussions if you miss one interest cycle. Now understand, you have a 3-time current asset lying into your books, which can be even cash, but it is lying into your books, right? And cash has, what is your saving rate nowadays? Or current account, if it is lying in current account, there is no interest. So you are not getting anything out of that money, even though it's a cash. And that's the problem of very large company like Apple. And I will give you an example, Dr. Hanumanta, so you can realize. Apple has in their books billions of dollars in cash. The trouble they have, they cannot invest. There is no good business other than their own business to invest. And thereby they do buyback of the share. You must have heard all large company does the buyback. TCS or Tata companies are well known for this. They always do the buyback. Why? Because they have a huge cash and they cannot keep into current asset. Otherwise, this problem of double sword, one side devil, other side deep blue sea monster is standing. So what they do? They buy their own share as a buyback. How many of you have heard about TCS buyback or Apple buyback? Just put yes if you have heard about it. Okay, so that's the reason. Now understand third implication to this, Dr. Hanumanta. You have to now bring the money to buy this raw material, right? You are keep on producing. You cannot stop your factory because you have inventory. You cannot do that. People are already taking salary, right? So you have to produce something to at least sustain. Now for that purchase of raw material, you need to go to bank and ask money. Now, you know for sure, if you go twice or thrice to the same person, forget about bank, he will not give you the money, first of all. And even though he will give you, he will be like shark, loan shark of, of a story of Shakespeare from Merchant of Venice, where he will ask you a pound of flesh even. You know them very well, right? Better than me. As an individual, everybody has faced this problem. And as a startup, they face more of this because they will be asked collateral, they will be asked so many things. But I know you guys are informed and well informed throughout 18 days. And you know there are a lot of collateral free loans are available. But of course, you can take one time, twice, thrice. You cannot go to a level where you are keeping a lot of product and not selling into the market or selling into market at credit, and you don't have a money to buy your raw material. That case will create additional financial burden in the system, and GoAir has faced that. GoAir exactly is that example where the financial cost keep on increasing because they have to fund their employee, salary, etc. Yeah, and there is no revenue. Everything is under inventory. Clear? Does that make sense, guys? Thank you, Dr. Hanmanta, for a nice question.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So let's go and try to manage this devil and deep blue sea issue. Yeah, and let's manage it like a samurai who manages the double-edged sword best in the world. Yeah, how to control this, we will learn from this samurai. Of course, there are a lot of theory which I will not touch upon, but I will quickly give you examples. There are 3 approaches. Okay. Yeah, and then I will give you a comparison between these 3 approaches on the broader basis so you understand it. And if you want to learn it more, of course, we need to meet again and again. There are 3 major approaches. First is conservative approach. As the name suggests, the conservative method of working capital is when you try to minimize the risk. Conservative, right? I want to play a Lala company role. Yeah, Lala company, what he will do? He will do, without any prerogative, Lala company are the best in India. Birlas, Tatas, or are Lala companies. Okay. How they manage? They manage conservative basis. Okay. What they do? They maintain relatively high working capital. So make sure they have enough money to capture new businesses. At the same time, they have been not called by bankers and told them that, sir, you are not paying my money on time. Okay, this approach emphasizes on safety and liquidity. Please understand that you have to be safe. You see, the amount here compared to the output versus level of the current asset will be highest. But why it is highest? Because I'm maintaining high working capital in this case. This top line, which you see here on the presentation board. This approach emphasizes on safety and liquidity over maximizing the profit. So they don't care about profit, which Dr. Hanmanta rightly asked. It's good, I should keep a lot of asset, but the keeping a lot of asset create a lot of burden on the business, because business is for making sales and earning money, yeah, earning profit rather than maintaining large asset and not making any money. So here, maximizing of profit is not a concern. Let me pay more interest. Let me pay more, cash to all my supplier upfront. But I will maintain large number of inventory, so seasonal demand I can manage. And those kind of company also sometime fails. But this is one of the approach to manage the cash, where you need seasonality to be maintained. And I will give you examples as well, okay, for each of them. So by building a higher level of cash, inventory, and receivable, a company can mitigate risk associated with unforeseen expenses, like market fluctuation. Who made money at the time of Corona? Who had a stock? Who made money? Who had a yield to spend in the market? Yeah, when nobody was ready to go out from house, they supplied to those house particular asset. Let it be laptop, let it be trucks or anything else. They made money. Yeah, those guys had a conservative policy. So by keeping this higher level of cash and inventory, yeah, you can manage this. This method is suitable for businesses. I will tell you example where the business has volatile or uncertainty to the extreme, which is right now is the case of online gaming. Yeah, 28% of GST is killing them, and now they are suffering their own fate. Of course, I do not promote online gaming, but I'm telling you, these guys are facing issues. So they have to have a lot of cash right now. So you might be seeing in your mobile message coming in nowadays, 25,000 credited to your online gaming account. This is happening because they have a lot of cash which they can spend. So these kind of businesses use this strategy to manage their working capital. Another example is manufacturing businesses who are not in just-in-time management. Okay, just-in-time management means 1. Your current ratio will be 1. JIT means current ratio is 1. It can be 0 for the current asset. You will have no asset. Everything is managed by the vendor, which is the case of Amazon. Is that case? But manufacturing industry who cannot play with human psychology, because if your product is not available in the market, nobody will come next time to you. Yeah. In that cases, you play conservative approach. Clear? Where excess inventory level is to avoid the production delays, rain, seasonality of demand, etc. Second is aggressive method. Now you see aggressive is the bottommost line in the curve here, which is just above the fixed asset level. Whatever level you have, there are other two levels are there. One is called permanent current asset level. But of course, we are not in the theory class, so I'm not going there. But maybe if required, I can take a separate discussion on that. And then there is a seasonality of demand, which will go up and down across. So there are these three levels are there, where aggressive level is very near to the fixed asset level. Forget about even in the permanent asset level. So they are just above the permanent asset level. Yeah. And the bottom in all these three strategies, where you keep very less cash. Of course, it is aggressive method of working capital, right? Not very common sense, but this is what I'm saying. Just follow it through and you will understand it well. It's not definitely not a common sense. Aggressive means I should keep a lot of money, right? That's a common sense. But in aggressive and working capital, I keep lesser of working capital means I keep lesser of current asset, lesser of cash. This strategy involve reducing the cash reserve. So less the cash, that's why you must have seen few aggressive trading businesses does this. They will not keep any cash. The moment cash will come, they will go and buy something else and sell into the market. A lot of a startup does that, and very smart play as well. Those people are aggressive people. They are seeking growth. And I will show you in a chart how which person tries to do what is their aim, what is the risk they take, what is the benefit they get. In this case, they will play with the inventory levels, adopting aggressive credit policy. Yeah, so on purchase side, they will not give any credit. Purchase side, they will take longer credit, and the sales side, they will take no credit. They will give you on cash. Yeah, mostly the retail businesses does that. As I told you, even Amazon does it. However, this method carries a higher risk of running out of cash, because the moment you touch the fixed asset level, you don't have any current asset level, and then maybe your loan will be due, the short-term loan will be due, the interest will be due, and you will go bankrupt. Because after one default, the second default is NPA for any bank. After that, they will start changing you. So for instance, software company also follows the same. Okay, so you guys are in bio entrepreneurship, so you will understand aggressive methods can be adopted in your industry as long as you don't have a risk of going out of stock. So software generally has a product ready. They have as many as you want, they will supply you, because one product, one code, and it sells to 2,000 people with a small tweaks. So those guys can play, where they keep shorter credit terms for customer and increases the faster payment and to improve their own cash flow. They will push you, pay my money, pay my money. Last one is hedging approach, which is a combination of these two, which is a combination of conservative and aggressive approach. This method, of course, involves identifying and managing the credit risk associated with the working capital. So this is the in-between. Lot of company which do not want to manage their working capital day in and day out follows this hedging strategy or matching approach. So the moment it will come down from being a very 120 days of credit, they will to 90 days of credit, they will apply the conservative method. Otherwise, they will go to the aggressive method. That's what they do. Yeah. Again, monitoring is very high, but this is a strategy where the management or the board of directors doesn't want to involve on daily basis. So let's understand in simple chart. And by the way, we are already halfway through. So if you have any question, you can ask me. Yeah. But there's still a lot of strategy to learn, which is a kind of assessment we will do. So how to assess a working capital. So anybody, any question, I am happy to stop here and the screen in front of you. So please read it and let me know if you have any question. Satish ji, if you have any questions. Satish MKG is quite a learned man and he has done a lot of strategy on such kind of stuff.
Basically, my question was when we talk of MSMEs, which have just started off business, like say they are just in the first year or second year of business, and funding is definitely an issue for most of the SMEs and MSMEs. So what is the working capital strategy that they should adopt to meet both ends? See, on the one hand, they have to take care of all their inputs by way of resources, procurement, taking care of salaries. At the same time, they have to also look into the sales aspect and funding. Well, it will be literally like hand to mouth sort of a situation for them. So what would be the best working capital strategy for small startups who are just started business, say maybe a couple of years down the line or 3 years, who are still not seeing big money?
Very good question. Very good question, Satish ji. So for them, look, let me not put a blanket on all the startups. You have to understand three things in the case of a startup. Which industry they are in, okay? What kind of customer they have. And third and most important part, if you want to design a strategy for a startup, is do this business has a seasonality of demand, which of course all the members must have learned in their financial feasibility study and etc. to understand the market. Through the market research, they will come to know whether it has a seasonality of demand. For example, oil.
Government industry, now
Which
where
industry?
Gaurav is situated, Galgotia University, Noida. That area is very famous for ready-made garments, and a lot of garments get exported, and all these units are all small units. None of them is big. They don't have big banners, no big names, but they sell quality products. I myself have purchased near Chandra. वो बड़ा एक ब्रिज आता है, उसके ब्रिज के उस पार जाएंगे. There is a locality, I forgot the name. I think Mr. Gaurav should be able to help me on this. Where this garment units, they are plenty, and many of them also export. And they have small factories situated on the river Yamuna, literally, you can say, very close to the river Yamuna, and they are all across Delhi. They are all based out of UP, very close to Saibabad, Ghaziabad, places like that.
No, absolutely correct. That area is mostly, Ghaziabad area. You will find a lot of garment factory as well as in Noida. It is available.
I have seen that place, so I'm sure they still really do business in a big way there.
No, correct. Absolutely, Satish ji, rightly asked. Now, for garment factory, has two parts. One part is the export-oriented unit, and another part is the supplying to domestic. Now, assuming that most of the company has most of the sales in domestic, not focused only on the international factories or international giants, in that case, the working capital of aggressive nature will help them. First of all, the two reasons are there. First of all, they are a startup, so they have to capture the growth. Yeah. So having extra cushion might help them, but create an issue that they are putting a lot of cash in the business. First of all, a startup doesn't have a cash. The moment he will see a cash, he will buy inventory and try to sell it. Yeah, and that should be their prerogative. So even though conservative looks very plausible exercise for them, but they should be always in the side. If they are selling domestically heavily, they have to follow a process of aggressive working capital. While if he has export unit, the export unit has a challenge. Why? Because the order quantity, economic order quantity for exports are really heavy. So they will say 10 containers, 5 containers of cloth has to be exported. Now that kind of order a startup gets, he cannot afford to lose it. And thereby he has to have a working capital line available for him to cater those export businesses. And thereby this business has to be conservative in nature in working capital side. Are you with me up to here? So if the garment factory has an export unit, of course, other factors also need to be considered. But I am just telling with the risk of just telling you, yeah, that if they have export orientation towards their sales, where they expect export order to receive any point in time in the year, they will follow a larger capital line, and thereby they have a conservative system. While if he is a domestic oriented, he knows that when the business will come and what quantity, and clothing is not a seasonally dependent business. Of course, in winter you have winter clothing, in summer you have summer clothing, but all the companies manufacture all the clothing, and thereby they are not susceptible to seasonality. In that case, you will go to conservative. Yeah, and if you have both combination, which Noida companies or Sahadra based, next to Sahadra based company, which Satish was talking, in that case, hedging can be prescribed for a startup. So it doesn't focus only on the money management. He looks out for his business development and a strategy for future growth. Does this help you, Satish ji? Does it help you?
So the question, partially, but I do not know because it depends. Like you rightly said, it depends on the type of business
Absolutely.
If it's an export-oriented unit, the strategy definitely has to be different from that of a 100% domestic unit. But in the case of a domestic unit, the challenges are much more. Most of these units are facing issues of finance only. That's what I've been told. Generally, in the small-scale sector, they are starved of funds. They do not know how to run the business. So it's an area that needs to be looked into by the financiers and other bodies or NBFCs and other institutions, maybe microfinance institutions which can help entrepreneurs. Am I right?
No, absolutely clear. That's what I meant. Thank you. Thank you for emphasizing. So looks, people like Satish ji are asking a valid question, and the answer lies here. The answer lies on this slide. That what is your outlook? So, for example, in conservative approach, aim is of this management approach is ensuring a sufficient liquidity. Why? To reduce, it will definitely reduce your profitability because the increase of those working capital which you are keeping extra in your business. Yeah. So that has a cost. So it reduces your profitability, but it also reduces your short-term call of the fund. Are you with me? So this is the aim of conservative approach. So you have to match that with your business which you are running. Of course, the cost of management, this kind of management is much higher. Yeah, the CFO will be given a free hand to manage it. Yeah, so mostly Tata companies follows this because their CFO has a lot of cash available with them and made available because of different reason. Of course, same reason as Apple has. They don't have enough opportunity where they can make more than 30% of revenue of profitability. Second, the cash flow impact is profit positive. Yeah, because you will always have more cash building up with you. So month on month basis, the cash will keep on increasing. And that's why the cash inflow will be higher in this case. Profitability will definitely go down, but the risk is much lower compared to the aggressive approach. Exactly, aggressive approach is opposite to that, which has an aim to maximize the profitability. They don't care about whether I have tomorrow money or not. I will trading businesses. I will take the money, go and buy it. You must have seen in Haryana, in where a lot of rice traders are there. They play this strategy. They don't care about their fund, how much fund they have. They will take loan and go and buy in the market when the produce are cheaper. It increases their profit potential. However, it increases the risk of short-term, defaults. The cost of management, of course, remain low because you are not invested in cash. The cash flow impact is negative. The profit is much higher and the risk is higher too. While the moderate approach is a neutral approach, they say, it's a matching approach, which is a hedging matching approach, we say, where we are targeting profitability and risk together. So we are not exposed to established businesses generally try to use this method. Of course, they put a lot of softwares to control it and a lot of talented CFOs to manage it, but their impact is humongous. It looks a small money, but you add every month and it will pay off your CFO salary. So it is for the established businesses. Yeah, where the cost of management, of course, little higher than the aggressive approach, but at the same time, the cash flow remains neutral. So they always try to match that inflow is equal to outflow in the cash terms. While the profitability will be moderate, little higher than the aggressive approach, the risk is also moderate in this case. Now we are shifting the gear and we are going to the last part of our discussion. Okay. And the last part of discussion is assessment. So let me tell you why it is important, why I need to assess a working capital. Now, any management cannot happen without you have a proper assessment of that strategy. And working capital is no different. Okay. Working capital is no different. So these strategies are important. Why? Because this assessment establishes the fact where you are in terms of your working capital management. Have you not done anything? Have you taken some steps? This is one part of a strategy. The second and important part, which any shop owner even is concerned about, is how much money I should keep for the working capital. How I should control my debit and credit days. कितने का मैं परचेज करूं, कितने का मैं सेल में क्रेडिट दूं, कितना दिन का मैं परचेज में क्रेडिट लूं फ्रॉम सप्लायर और कितने दिन का मैं दूं, कितना इन्वेंट्री मेरे को करना चाहिए. ये डिस्कशन, दिस डिस्कशन is a part of assessment, and that's why it is very critical. However, I have put in the last leg, but I will explain you all the 5 approaches which are there available, established by, of course, RBI. There are few approaches which is mandated by RBI, because on that basis only you will get a credit in banks, and you will also know whether I should approach a bank or not. Yeah, and on that basis only bank will give. So it is better that you go prepared on your financial plan, that this is my working capital requirement, and I have calculated based on, any of the system which I'm listing here. They will be impressed and they will give you immediately a cash credit line or overdraft facility without asking a single question. So that increases your reputation in front of banker or bondholder or the equity provider. Are you with me? So how this whole system has come, there is a basis to this, which is a Nair committee who has, establishes certain theorem which is applicable to the Indian market. Yeah, and they recognize, Nair committee recognize that this is a make or break for any startup, and thereby a banker has to follow it, and thereby a startup also need to understand and follow it. So these 5, we will take slide by slide and understand. What are these 5? We say mode TC. What do we say? Mode TC. M for maximum permissible bank finance. O for operating cycle method. D for mode, right? Mode TC. So D for drawing power method. T for turnover method. And finally, cash budget method. Now let's understand what is this terminology, MBBF method. It's very difficult to even pronounce it. However, the concept is very simple. The concept is, it is the maximal permissible bank finance limit which they create into their bank for you to access. This is a credit line which you ask a bank to maintain for you. How you work it out? Of course, current asset, we have learned that current asset means inventory plus account receivable, the credit which you give to your customer, and the raw material which lies at different stages of operation, being a raw material to the finished good. If you all add this plus rent, etc., this will create a current asset. While the current liability, of course, is creditor plus bank borrowing. So here I am putting a definition to current asset and current liability team. Okay, so even though I have explained you in the balance sheet right away from a practical example, but if you want to find a definition, this is the definition. However, there is a other current liability as well, which is the difference between current liability minus bank borrowing. That is the real, other current liability, which a system should take care of. Because once you bring the bank borrowing, of course, you are talking about the bank, right? Then how you will assess how much money I need? Thereby, you remove that from the current liability to get a other current liability. So here in maximum permissible bank finance assessment theorem, they say what you do, you take all your current asset. You remember in the case of Go Air, and in the case of in Go Air, it was 1,000 current asset, 286. In case of Biocon, it was 8,000. You remember that, right? 8,436. Those two numbers you have to put it minus other current liabilities. So you have to remove the financing liability. If you remove that, so out of, in the case of Go Air, we have approximately double of the actual numbers. So that was 4,000. Remove that maybe 1,000 or 2,000, which was their fixed cost of interest cost. Remove that. That number is working capital gap. So in MBBF, you calculate working capital gap. And why it is important? There are two methods which bankers deploy to decide how much of overdraft they will give you. Quickly, I'm explaining you because you guys are teaching or borrowing it. You need not to know the actual mechanism, but still it covers everything. What I'm telling you in simple word. MBBF equal to working capital gap, which we calculated, current asset minus other current liability minus margin. This is the liberal method where directly you deduct from WCG minus margin. Margin is generally 25% of, again, a thumb rule, 25% of working capital gap. They will say, this I want to keep it. Otherwise, this guy will go default. If I will give you that margin as well, this guy will go default. So that banker removes it under liberal mechanism, okay, where they want to give you more money. Yeah, your industry require more money. So you remember more money where you need in conservative approach. In that case, they will do a liberal calculation and you do and go to them, then it is the best case scenario. So MBBF equal to 75% of that number is MBBF, which is maximum permissible bank finance in liberal method. While the stringent method, they will, of course, take 25% of the current asset as a margin. So what is the difference between these two? Here, in the liberal method, you take working capital gap, which is where you deduct the other current liability, right? Here, you take directly the current asset 25%. That's the difference. So margin money to be arranged for the long-term fund, it means it has to be arranged. Bankers will tell you that startup, Mr. Baiju, 25% you have to bring of this money and 75% I will give you of the working capital gap in liberal method. And in current asset method, it will be much lesser. Because why lesser? Because the margin is higher. I will give you this much money. Rest of the money you have to arrange through equity or long-term debt. If you want, come to my other department and I will give you. This is the method number one. Now let's go to method number two. I think we have how many minutes, Gauravji?
You have
15
sufficient time, sir. You can take
15 minutes.
15
okay,
minutes.
Good. Wonderful. 15
20
minutes.
minutes
I
you
have
can take.
Lovely. So I can take full day. I won't mind. We are 24 by
Yes.
7 people. Yeah, investment banker life is up to 10 o'clock in the night.
Yes.
And teaching is our hobby. We teach all the startups. Anyway, coming back to the second story. So I will take you a little bigger case here for everybody. So how many of you want to hear the story? So I will tell you a story instead of boring numbers. And then I will show you the number calculation. Let me know if everybody will say, at least majority should say they want a story. Otherwise, I will tell them the dry method. Yeah, let me say if people are awake, because it's office time, right? Most of them must be doing some other jobs along with this. And I can understand that's how the startup life is. Yeah, a startup life or the professor life is they have to do 10 things. And my wife is into this business as well, professorship. So I know how she works. Yeah, so I can understand, but just put yes if you want to hear the story so you can enjoy your working more. Yeah, so it is your chance to say yes. Okay, so many yes now coming in. Good. No, this will make the concept clearer to you guys. And given that Gauravji is, generous enough to give me a little extra to me. Wonderful, Kuldeep. Thank you, Arindam. Thank you, Ms. Jagriti. Thank you, Tuba. I think story makes sense. Even Dr. Sweta says, let's hear some story. Okay, so Anush says, let's hear the story. Okay, Sagun says, let's hear the story. So why not? Let's hear a story, business story rather, for this purposes. But still it is not majority. Few of them are still too busy to even type yes. Yeah, but commendable job, team member. Whoever faculty members are joining, being busy, still you are joining. So I really respect and appreciate that you are dedicated to your success, whatever business you are taking up. Appreciate that. Okay, Sankar also said, so we have a majority, full house saying that let's hear. After raising the fund, short term and long term, you remember anything you start with this raising the money. After you raise the money, first thing you do and setting up your factory, you go and purchase. Even for factory, you need to purchase, right? So you purchase either on credit or in cash. Yeah, if you are a new business, a startup business, very difficult to get a credit. But still few smart startups are able to negotiate, showing them volume. So whoever comes to me as an incubation program or as a developing their startup and getting funded, we tell them about the economy of scale which you will achieve. Yeah, and these AI tech companies have that kind of advantage as long as you are ready to show. So they buy the raw material, and then after they buy the raw material at credit or cash, they take this into the production and manufacturing process. That's the step number 2. So the moment you will put the raw material into your factory to get processed, in the case of cloth, it will be converted from clothes, first of all, cotton to linen, threads, which Reliance used to do in the previous days. And those threads you put into the making of a cloth garment flat. So that's the working capital progress. Okay. Or you can start, even if it is ready-made, then you will start with a plain cloth and you will start processing it. So that goes into the working capital. Once you finish it, you package and put into your store, which is basically finished good. Yeah. So you reach to the finished good. So I'm just telling you the operating cycle, then I will give you a good story to hear about. And that goes to the sales, where the invoicing happens. So once finished goods is there, then pressure is on the owner, the startup owner, and his team member who are in sales to push. So what they will get, sir, don't pay me, take my ready-made clothes. Sahadra guys will do. Okay. They will not mind it. They will go and sell at any cost. Yeah. And they will sell at credit as well as on cash. So if it is a retail and he is strong enough, he can sit on the roadside and he will sell it. And if he is a bigger guy, he will sell it through the different channels. In both cases, it can be a customer has to be there, and that customer is called data or account receivable he will create. Clear? That account receivable comes into play for certain period of time. Say he has given you 30 days. Sir, abhi mahine mein paisa nahi hai. Salary milegi, aapko de dunga. Tab tak mere ko suit pehnne do. Yeah, that is account receivable. The moment you get monthly salary that guy gave, I will run to him saying that, sir, aap suit to pehn liya, ab aapko salary mila, mera paisa de. The moment that converts account receivable, it goes to cash. And again, that cash is available for this cycle. This is the operating cycle. So let's take an example of electronic company, let's say Sunlight Electronic Company. Yeah. They specialize in what? They are into solar power gadget. New kind of gadget. You might have seen mobile also can put a back cover with a solar panel. So they are doing that. Next to Golgotia University, they have started. Maybe in the incubation center, I'm not aware of. They specialize in producing solar power gadgets. And the founder name is, say, Mr. Jai. Yeah. Mr. Jai was a visionary entrepreneur, graduated from Golgotia University, yeah, and wanted to start his own business. And few of you, I know you are studying and doing. Who are those guys who are studying and still doing the entrepreneurship? Please raise your hand. So I know you personally. Please raise your hand. Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Pankaj is one who is taking such kind of a risk. Wonderful, Pankaj. Good job done there. No, look, Pankaj, the advantage for you will be that you will be the advance in the learning curve. And this kind of association will help you grow faster. Yeah. So that's the advantage. That's why I wanted to know who all are there who are doing such kind of action. Yeah. Studying and while learning this and implementing it, because you can do it in real time basis. Okay. So few people are messaging. Wonderful. Great. So you have, this is good stuff. Why? Because once you are visionary, you do start your businesses before even graduating. So who understood the importance of managing working capital because you attended my today's lecture? It's not a lecture, it's a practical orientation, but let's assume you attended my lecture and you, Jay has understood working capital, how to manage it effectively. He wanted to deploy operating cycle method. Why? Because he believed in maintaining a balance between liquidity and profitability. That's what his understanding is. He does not want to take risk and make his company go bankrupt. He always kept a keen eye on the company current asset and liability. He always observed that, what is happening. He knew that having sufficient working capital is crucial for his smooth operation and growth. So in the heart of Sunlight factory, of their vision, there was a bustling inventory of management department. Inventory management department was flooded by thousands of people. Yeah, their job was to maintain the inventory. The shelves were filled by various components that made the company current asset. Okay. So all cells were filled with the current asset. Sorry, Kumar, Dr. Amol, you are saying something? Okay, so it was a mistake. He has on his. Okay, no problem, Dr. Amol. So what I'm telling you, Dr. Amol, is the cells were filled with the various components. That was the case. Means it was totally bustling inventory department. The stack of raw materials such as solar panels, circuit boards, rechargeable batteries were waiting to be converted into a gadget.
Madam.
Yes, Shankarji, you want to say something? Okay, he wants water. Can help him? Can somebody help him, please? Okay, these raw materials represented the potential for creating valuable product. Yeah, once it will be converted into the gadget, it becomes effective. The manufacturing process was in full swing with a skilled technician working diligently, different workstations. So the work in progress also, you understand, it was bustling as well. These work in progress items were the critical part of current asset as well. Yeah, they embodied the company investment and the effort in transforming the raw material to the finished good. As the production reached, line reached to the final stage, the packaging part, you see, packaging part, the solar gadgets were ready to be shipped to customer. So there was a warehouse of Amazon where they started putting it in. They were an essential component of sunlight electronic current asset. On the other side of the factory, in the bustling office of Mr. J, yeah, ex-Golgotia University, was doing a procurement team was working diligently with supplier to supply this inventory to their inventory department. These purchases were on credit formed by the company liability, specifically the account payable. So they said that these should be minimum 90 days. I should purchase anything. That's their prerogative, and they were working on this. The supplier trusted Sunlight Electronics, being a Golgotia University pass out. They knew these guys are maintaining good working capital and they will never default. They always gave him good credit term. Remember this word, good credit term he was getting. Yeah, which even Dr. Hanmanta was talking about. But they knew that the J is very smart, and whatever he's taking credit come in purchase, he's maintaining it with counteracting with asset which he's creating, which that is why his inventory department was bustling. The J knew that managing working capital was crucial, and thereby he ensured that company financial stability remains intact. He regularly monitored the company cash position and inventory levels along with the credit which he was getting from his supplier. So the CEO was himself involved in all these processes at monitoring level, not on day-to-day activity level, monitoring level. So by carefully balancing the current asset to the current liability in the electronic side, so whatever they were buying, solar panel, etc., the whatever trade term they were getting, they were making sure that they have a larger portion of that, either in terms of cash or in terms of inventory. The J realized that calculating the working capital requirement was vital, so he implemented operating cycle method, which is important to support his finance department. He maintained inventory level, invested in growth opportunity. So anytime large order came for the solar panel, solar gadgets, he was available to supply them, and that's why he was doing it. Under the J leadership, of course, guys, Sunlight in electronics thrived. You must have guessed by now, yeah, it must have thrived. The customers' demands were demanding a new product line, etc., and he was able to provide. And the reason he was able to provide was this days, which I am trying to show you. In operating cycle method, you calculate things in days, and how you can convert into rupees, that I will show you quickly. So 30 days was raw material takes, they used to buy 30 days raw material worth. When they send it to work in progress, it required 15 days from solar panel to a gadget to be produced. Packaging in the stores, they kept finished good for 15 days. After they put into the stores, after the gadgets were prepared, it was packed well and put for 15 days in the stores. Their sales department and Mr. J was very strong, and he was able to sell within 30 days. In 30 days time, they were able to get the cash from this sell. So they used to sell to customer, and within 30 days, they were getting their money in. while they were taking credit for the solar panels for 30 days as well. Okay, so see, he's trying to match it. And then he has additional time, 30 days here, 15 days here, 15 days here. So if I had to ask you, what is the operating cycle method implication? What is my cash position? So you calculate like this. So operating cycle basically is raw material, RM, WIP, then you have account receivable, finished good and account receivable. You add all these days and deduct this AP 30 days, which in this case 30 plus 15 plus 15, 60 plus 30, 90 minus 30 gives you 60 days. That's the operating cycle. Can you people do it even by mouth, right? You can do it by mouth even. You don't need pen and paper for calculating this. This is what the operating cycle is. This method of assessment is simple, to the point. And if you want to convert into, say, I want to know how much of rupees I need to put into working capital. What should be my credit line with a bank as an overdraft or cash credit? In that case, what you do, you take 365 or 360 days, divide this operating cycle, which was 60 days, correct? 360 divided by 60, I will get an operating cycle. So generally, this is approximately 6 times in a year, he is rotating his working capital. 6 times, right? 360 divided by 60 equal to 6. So operating cycle here is 6. Now I want to convert into dollar term or rupees term. So for example, this company, Mr. J, was selling $300 million every year. This is their annual sale. Annual expenses were $240 million US dollar. So what he did, 240 million. So working capital requirement is basically annual expense, which is 240 million divided by how many cycles he has done? 6 cycles. So 240 by 6. Can anybody post an answer in the chat box, please? I don't have a calculator to calculate. Can anybody put what is his US dollar million he requires to produce this in the chat box? Simple, right? Number of cycle is 6. Annual operating expenses is 240. That's his total operating expenses. 240 divided by 6. How much is that? Absolutely, sir. Absolutely correct. That's the number he will ask. He will go to his bank and ask to put in his overdraft facility. Dr. Sweta has answered that. Hanmantaji have. Okay, so that is 40 million US dollar what he needs. Clear? Any doubt here, team? Any doubt? If not, I will move to the next part. I have to cover only 2 now. So we'll quickly close it. Third method is drawing power method. Drawing power method is, don't first of all get confused with drawing power to the bank sanction. Bank sanction you a credit line, okay, based on this calculation of drawing power. So what is bank sanction limit for the overdraft or for cash credit? Or you remember credit cards? They have also a limit, right? They will give you, even though your salary is 10 lakh rupees, they will say, no, only 2 lakh I will give you. They calculate your expenses and then they convert into operating cycle method or drawing power method. And they will tell you only 2 lakh I will give you in a year or 4 lakh I will give you in a year. Okay. Bank sanction limit is what? That is the limit. But do you use all the money all the time? No, if you will use all the money, then your credit score goes down. Okay. If you have a 4 lakh ka limit in your credit card and you use 4 lakh every month, then your credit score will go down, thinking that your requirement is much larger. So bank sanction limit is much higher, which is a total working capital limit allocated to a customer based on the collateral you put. So your salary, you say, right? My salary will go directly to you if I will default. So the moment you put the collateral, they will give you the sanction limit. But that's not the drawing power. Yeah. By the borrower, and of course there is a credit appraisal by the bank. On the basis of they will tell you that, okay, for instead of 40 crore, I will give you 50 crore. That's my bank sanction limit. But drawing power is amount that a customer can withdraw every month. So how much I can withdraw every month? So from 50 US dollar, you remember I have a 60 days in operating cycle. You remember 60 days, that was my operating cycle. So I need 2 months, right? So he will divide it by 2 and you will get only 25 US dollar under drawing power limit. Yeah. However, you can calculate it again. Calculation is inventory up to here. Raw material, WIP plus fixed good is your inventory minus account payable, your credit sales minus a margin. They apply a margin. Yeah. Margin plus book debt. If you have 90 days less any book debt available, required, that also minus margin. These two numbers they will add and give you the drawing power. Now let's go to the fourth method, which is turnaround method. So in this method, you understood, right? Drawing power will give you lesser. In the operating cycle, you have $40 million, $40 million requirement. In this, only 25 because of that calculation. But in turnover, it might be a little larger. How they calculate turnover? So they take the sales working capital. Bank will give 80% and 25% of that number. So working capital requirement for MSME unit is generally, this is another thumb rule by Nair committee has given that for MSME unit up to 5 crore, it should be for MSME. For other, it should be 1 crore only. How they calculate? They take 4 operating cycle. Okay, they say instead of 6, which is your actual operating cycle, they will say no, maximum you can turn around your working capital is 4 times, and thereby I will give you 80% through the bank and only 25% of that. 20%, of course, you have to put as a margin upfront, right? The individual has to give their share and then bank will give. So bank gives 80, you give 20. Now 80 ka, they will take only 25% as a working capital. Or they will check with 20% of the sales. That's the formula, which is in case of margin is 5% of the sales. That's the formula for turnover method. Then the last method, I hope I have still 2-3 minutes, right? Because I'm seeing I have already crossed 5 minutes.
Yes, sir, you can take, sir.
Okay, so that is the last slide now. So let's consider a simple numerical example for cash busting method, which is basically working capital requirement here requires you to estimate the inflow and outflow of a cash over a specific period, typically a month or over a quarter. So you have to see the cash inflow and cash outflow month on month basis. And that basis, you can calculate again here, you assume 4 operating cycle, you can assume, but you basically do is forecasting. You don't assume this, you do the forecasting of cash inflow for next month or next 5 months, next 6 months. Okay. Assuming that minimum 4 cycles are completed. What you check? Cash outflow for the expenses, purchases, and debt repayment. While company can assess its working capital need. For example, a retail store creates a cash budget estimating its sales revenue, deducting expenses like rent, salary, inventory, whatever you see in their shelf, they will deduct all that. And then they will say factoring a loan repayment, I have to also repay the loan. So that amount also you will deduct. And this will help to identify the potential cash shortage or surpluses in the business, allowing him to plan for the working capital effectively. I could have run an example, but let's see if anybody has a question and then I will give you the example if possible. Thank you very much, team. You are a great audience as well as listener. I appreciate you interacting so much. Really appreciate that. Gauraji, hand over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. The session was very informative, and I think the participant has taken the advantage of our eminent speaker and their expertise. So I would like to request the participant, if you have any query, you can unmute yourself and ask your query to Vivek, sir. He will love to address the all query.
Absolutely. Happy to query, feedback, anything. Now it's your time. My lecture time is over.
Yes.
Good show.
Sir, hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Sir.
Yes, sir, I'm Shankar Mukherjee from Bangalore.
How are you?
Yeah, sir, fine. Sir, I would like I'm not my domain is not from this operation and supply chain, but I'm basically from marketing and digital marketing area. But on my curiosity of understanding these methods and mechanism in supply chain, particularly in the area of e-commerce supply chain, be it how this hub and spoke model or what are the other model, in which one is the which is being applied by Amazon on e-commerce portal. And there is a difference between there are 2 parts of e-commerce. One is Amazon is one kind of supply chain they do, and Blinkit they do and different, and the last minute apps like that. So what are the basic difference in the methods they apply in between 2, sir? It's out of my curiosity. I don't know how relevant it is.
No. Very interesting question. And in supply chain, Amazon has created a history. Okay, and Flipkart followed it. And they have a very simple model. They do not stock on themselves. Okay, you can put a stock on your behalf into their warehouses.
Okay.
Are you with me up to here?
Yeah.
Shankarji?
It's a marketplace model.
Absolutely, marketplace model. So they let you advertise. When the sale happens, then they give you the credit. Now that model is called just in time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually much aggressive than just in time. Just in time is still you promise to pay them if there is no sale happens and metal goes west. Here they will return you straight. Yeah, if they make a mistake, however, Amazon is considerate enough that if they have made a mistake while storing, or your things got damaged while getting supplied to the customer and customer has returned to them, they will give you a refund as well. But this is owned by you. They just put a marketplace and you sell it. That's their regulation. Now,
So
Blinkit,
Sir, one question. So Amazon does not store that, no? Only they have a warehouse, they bring it from them and keep it in the warehouse for supply. Am I right?
Absolutely. That's what the policy is. But few product, which is critical for them, okay. And now they have named it as Amazon Basics. They also procure and keep it. Third, there are several, by the way, it's quite a complex web of organization, Amazon is. Yeah, and that's why they are able to lead it. So they do not deploy only one method. There is another model where they also buy or at least lock those products. For example, Big Billion Day, right? You must have heard they have already started announcing 1 month before to all the suppliers that you increase your stock now. Yeah, because I'm going to announce in July end. The moment their all supplier got ready in this time, they got ready by 15th itself. Everybody notified to Amazon saying that, Sal, I'm ready. Okay. And they, by the another point I will tell you, because you are in supply chain, if you want to manipulate Amazon, okay, I'm just giving you out of cuff. It's of course, it's not a simple strategy, but what you can do is you show them a much larger market, penetration. If you will tell them, sir, last month I have sold 1 lakh ka equipment. This month I am definitely sure, or next 1 year I'm definitely sure, passing through Big Billion Days, Prime Days, etc. If you allow me with a larger presence in the market, I will be able to do 20 lakh ka business. You have to just give that promise. Meet Sardarji. I'm forgetting his name right now, and I cannot take few names as well whom I know. And meet him and you explain to him, he will give you more access. That's the business they are in. However, in the case of Blinkit, it is little tricky, more trickier than that, because here they also keep lot of product which they display on the marketplace through themselves. So they lock it.
They need to keep stock in their warehouse. In case of Blinkit.
On the credit. Mostly they do it on credit, but sometime the necessity good which they see based on their AI models that it is selling more, they buy it as well. That's why they are posting losses on losses. They don't have any profit whatsoever. Yeah.
Okay. I do understand. Actually, is there, sir, any way hub and spoke model come into exist in these two?
Hub and spoke model is in both places, right? Hub and spoke model. Okay. So how you define hub and spoke?
It's like a wheel of the cycle. Okay. There will be the center point where that will keep it, and then they circulate with the different satellites units. This is why I do understand.
No, that is a correct understanding, except one point which I will add. This hub and spoke model is basically run by Amazon because he's a large company. Okay. While in the case of Blinkit, they give it to the fulfillment center. Yeah. So in case of Amazon, the fulfillment center is much larger, run by Amazon itself. 99%. Means, of course, few private players are also there. But in case of Blinkit, they are outsourcing it. Yeah. In that case, hub and spoke method does work. And in both cases, it works. So it's not that only one guy uses it, another guy doesn't.
So its margin pressure in Blink is very high because they have to keep stock over Amazon in that case.
And not only that, they make a lot of losses in this process too. What I will do, I will share a case study on the Blinkit when they got sold. They have recently sold, right? You are aware about it.
Yeah.
So when they got sold, what was the reason they have to sell themselves? And Zepto is another case study now, which is coming in play because Zepto. They have, they're the Y Combinator, which was there from beginning, has declined to take any to provide any further funding to them. Yeah, because they have closed their fund, which was running Jepto. So they have another big case, which you will very recently, you will start hearing about them. And if you want, if you are a supply chain guy, you can tell your team or people, whoever interacting with you, to approach Jepto. They will give a good credit line.
Oh, very good, sir.
Does this help you, Shankarji?
Thank you so much. It's immensely helped to keep it very clear and transparent. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure. Anybody else?
Any other query?
Hello, sir.
Hi, Aarti Kabra. Go ahead.
I have a query. Like, it is a very basic query. In the initial slides, you were explaining about short-term funds and long-term funds. So regarding that, I have a query that supposingly I am a startup and I want to have a short-term funds for a while to develop the product. So it will take 6 months around to develop the product. So how to manage those funds, first of all? And second, like, are there any bank or financial resources from where we can get these funds?
You definitely, you are a bio entrepreneur, aren't you, Aarti?
Yes.
Okay, good. So a very good question, by the way. And you remember the slide. I really appreciate that, Aarti. Look, first of all, it is not short-term fund, which you need for product development, because once you will develop the product, this will become your IP, isn't it?
Yes.
This will be the basis for your tomorrow commercialization of that product, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So what you need is a venture capital or seed fund, which is a part of long-term fund. You see on this slide, I have said that this is a strategy fund where you invest not with the outlook that you will start getting money out of it, but in the short term is an immediate requirement because you need to get money out of certain process.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the, I'm just giving you a layman definition. Okay. It's not a theoretical definition. So what I'm trying to explain you here, that even though your requirement is only for 6 months, this is a long-term fund, which a seed fund provider like venture capital, angel investor. Yeah, like in Bangalore, there are several of those who fund such kind of investment, being anywhere in India. Those people will give you that initial investment, which is very small in nature, but they will take a larger equity share. You see how it works. The moment he takes the equity share, it becomes a long-term fund because they are not asking you return immediately, right? And you can't return because you are putting in the product development, isn't it? So that's exactly is the reason this is a long-term fund. This is not a short-term fund because it creates a equity in your system. You sell your equity 20%, 30%, and you get $500,000 from that guy. Yeah. And that he invests for a longer term horizon, maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 year based 10 years for venture capital, it is 10-year horizon. So that's a long-term fund, not a short-term fund. So you will not apply 3 approaches, which I told you: conservative, aggressive, and hedging matching theory, or neither you will apply the 5 assessment theory there. This is a completely different discussion. If there will be slot, I will come and explain you venture capital seed fund, because I think somebody must have covered. But as a practitioner, I can also come and help you guys if Gauravji thinks it is important.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sir, in August, we are also planning for the faculty development program.
Okay.
That will be also sponsored by the DST. It also will be conducted through online mode.
Okay. So I think in that time I will try to cover even the long-term fund.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I will connect you, sir.
Not a problem.
For your talk, sir.
Thank you, Aarti. Anybody else?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Any other query?
Yeah, can you, Vivek, I just wanted to know, in this country right now, which are the leading microfinance institutions? Like, they give loans in small amounts, not big amounts running into crores. Basically, startups don't look in terms of crores of money to be invested initially, right? So, you have in mind some microfinance institutions which these startups can look up to?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Satishji. There are several of those. Not only fund, there are grants available. But only point here is, look, we have right now 1 lakh of or 100,000 of startup registered. Remember, these are registered startup. There are, if you ask me, it is more than 20 lakh. Yeah, right now, which are in this stage. Few of them are brainstorming, few of them are in product development, but 20 lakh, 1 lakh are registered through DST system and innovation system. Okay, Startup India system. Out of that, sir, please understand, only one statistic tells me 10,000, one statistics tells me only 4,000 have got a grant from the government, which is to the tune of 50 lakh. Okay, only those people have got. So there is a trick to get these kind of funds, and there are several of those. First, and of course, the Gauravji have arranged a lecture on it. I saw in the process, which has given, I believe, one of my team member was telling me they have given 20 of such grants are there, 20 of such grants, and one of them, those who as a investment banker approaches is SIDBI. SIDBI and NABARD is the easiest one based on your industry and requirement of amount. They give up to 5 crores, okay, without any collateral, Satishji. Without any collateral. Without any collateral. Yeah, and you don't need to show them officially, even you don't need to show them a year of revenue. They are supposed to do some kind of, seed funding. But if that doesn't happen, then you can go to the 50 lakh wala grant for your product development, which is available. But be prepared. Whatever you have learned in this 18-20 days, or you are going to learn another 10-15 days, learn this and apply it into your documentation process, and then approach or take guidance from all the people who have come here. We will love to guide you guys without any money. Yeah, it's a kind of operation we do for a lot of incubation, by the way, incubation systems. So we can guide you, but prepare a document where they cannot decline you, because out of 1 lakh, only 10,000 even I consider. So out of 10, only 1 person is getting that money, which is collateral free. Otherwise, you have to put money through 3F. You know these 3Fs, right? Yeah, family,
like you
family, friend. Yeah, family, correct, Satishji. Family, friend, and the most interesting one is the fools, which are available in the market as well. So these people will give you the money. Apart from that, if you want a systemic one, it is very difficult to get, but a lot of people get if you approach it rightly.
Yeah. Hello.
Does this answer? Yeah, Arindam Bhattacharya, go ahead, please. If you can start your camera.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Bhattacharya, boliye.
Yes, sir. So I am asking that if anyone raise a fund from angel investors, so how can we found him those institutions and where?
If you want to find them, a lot of website gives that data. Yeah, you can write to people like us, and we will suggest you a few whom we know. Then there are 3 angel networks. Yeah, if you want, you can make a note. 3 angel network which you can approach. Of course, if you approach through us or any other investment banker, or your near town, any chartered accountant who knows them, then the chances of success are higher. However, the names are Indian Angel Network, IAN. Okay, you just Google it, you will find it. They have an office in Bombay. Okay, and I know a few people there. Then second one is Venture Catalyst. Is the another source where you can find the angel networks. What they will do, they will take first interview with you, and then they will start displaying. And third and most normal one is Venture. Again, a Bombay-based institution which helps. AH Ventures. So these are the 3 ones which are commonly available. Of course, they will not take everybody, but they have a network behind them. Okay, so more than 500, 600 people are there who keep on investing on these startups.
So can you repeat the second one, sir?
Second one is Venture Catalyst, Sankaji. Okay. Who are available in Bangalore. And there are few more are there. So if you will write me in, my LinkedIn ID is displayed now. So you can
is it Daljit Singh is attached to venture capitalists? Because I stay in Bangalore. Bangalore, he has funded many startups like Samosa Singh, as a very famous startup, you know. Okay, selling samosa. So it's recently in the
samosa, chai walas, I know all of them. Yeah.
Samosa Singh.
I don't know how sustainable are they, but anyway.
Okay. Recently, it has appeared in Mint also. Now he is emerging as a very good big venture capitalist. So is it anyway related to venture capitalist? Do you know, sir? He is
Venture
related.
catalyst, I'm not sure of, because
Okay.
even though I'm in Bangalore, but I scantily work with them. Yeah,
Okay.
mostly I work with Venture, SIDBI, NABARD. These are government institutions, but they also have, by the way, seed fund. SIDBI had a seed fund as well.
Yes.
So they can give you access to that, where you don't have even a financial statement, still you can get funded.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good question, Satish ji. Awesome. And thank you, Shankar
Thank
ji,
you,
for
sir.
contributing.
Thank you, sir.
Arindam Bhattacharya ji. Good question there. So it helped a lot of startups today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Of course,
thank you
that's
for
not by
mentioning
today's
all those.
discussion, but still I love to share information.
I just send the request over LinkedIn. Please accept it. So
Don't worry, I will. I accept all the requests. I never decline.
Can you put your email ID here also? We can connect you in email.
Now I think they are trying to wrap up. Send me on LinkedIn ID and I will share with
Yes,
you
sir.
my email ID too. Okay.
Thank you.
And
Thank
anyway,
you
I
so
will
much,
share
sir. I would like to invite Shankar sir to kindly facilitate our speaker, the keynote speaker, Vivek sir,
Okay.
on behalf of Galgotia University.
Okay, sir. On behalf of Galgotia University, and I am going to offer you that a token of appreciation for sharing such a valuable inputs to all of us. And it's really a thriving sessions, and I will say it's not a session, it's better as a brainstorming. A lot of dialogues and a lot of queries have been made, and we hope we look forward to get your more advice and others for the new budding entrepreneurs in future also, sir. Thank you for your valuable contributions. You are taking time off and you have invested here, and I think it will create more excitement. It will rekindle the joy of startups.
Awesome. Thank you, Shankar ji. Appreciate that. And thank you, Galgotia University with Gaurav ji and Vice Chancellor.
Thank you. We are very fortunate to have you as a speaker, sir. It will be better if you can physically present here. So
next time for sure. I keep coming on Delhi.
Sir, we have applied for the offline TEDP and EDP as well as Women Entrepreneurship Development Program in the DST. So if we will get the grant, we will call you, sir. We will invite you, sir, for the physical lecture.
Absolutely. By the way, just to Women Entrepreneur Development Program, I come from an association of CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst of USA. They heavily invest in women entrepreneurship. So anybody who wants to join from your course or program, they can directly approach them or approach them through us, and we will link him. They provide advisory free of cost.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I will connect you, sir, for that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Pleasure
sir.
meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So we are moving ahead for the next session. Due to the time limited, the session was very interactive. But we have our second keynote speaker has joined with us, Mr. Golock Chandra Sahu, sir. He is the Senior Audit Officer of Indian Audit and Accounts Department. With her demonstrated history of working in the government administration industry, he is skilled in accounting, tax, financial statements, financial reporting, and fraud investigations. He is a strong accounting professional with an MBA focused in HRM from Indira Gandhi National Open University. He has acquired post-graduation in economics, rural development from the Odisha State Open University and commerce from Utkal University with a specialization in business finance in the service that made him the well-versed in training and teaching many important topics related to finance, tax, internal control mechanism, and internal as well as external audits. So we are very grateful to have Golock sir as a keynote speaker. We are inviting you, sir, to take the session. Over to you, sir. Golok sir, you are muted. Okay.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, Gaurav. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. Actually, students and participants have took lot of interest in Suman sir. Suman sir gave them maximum data, and that make them interested to take more time and to issue more questions. So for me, actually my topic is purchasing techniques. So can I start if all are not feeling tired now? Hello.
No, sir. No, sir. All are waiting for your informative lecture, sir.
Now, am I audible to you all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
There are some current problem there, and I am taking on mobile only. So anyway, just
sir, if you are facing a difficulty in sharing your screen, you can send the PPT to me on WhatsApp. I will share on your behalf.
Okay, PPT. Can I have your mail? So just please your WhatsApp number, please WhatsApp number.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Gaurav ji.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your WhatsApp number, please.
Yes, sir. I have sent message you, sir.
I need some 2-3 minutes, please. The number is not there. It has not come, sir.
Sir, yes, sir. I have messaged you, sir.
Nine.
I have sent a message you.
Oh, in WhatsApp you have sent, nine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Just it. Please. 757220. 0. Eight 1717. Sao वाला नहीं था जैसे ऊपर नहीं आता जैसे ये डबल हुआ so just 2 minutes please
Yes, sir. Please.
सर गास्ट्रो ने भोग लेके हो नहीं सर गास्ट्रो ने तो बोलो जी सर का इन्फॉर्म कोड़े में प्रॉब्लम है ना हम बताओ ये मुझे Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, it is just, I'm just telling. Hello. Are we currently there? You can enable the screen. Gaurav-ji, hello.
Yes, sir.
You can
Yes,
enable
sir.
this my
Sir, you can share your PPT by share the screen button.
This sharing is disabled here.
Sir, I have made you the co-host. Okay, I am again, sir. Now you can share. You have come with the another lab number. Okay, I have made again.
Okay.
Now you can share. So is it okay now, sir? Hello. Yes, sir, it is visible.
Hello.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So we can start. Oh my goodness, it's a long exercise. So this topic is something it is known to all. It is not like Suman sir's topic that most are not aware of. So this is regarding purchase techniques. Any business requires purchasing and selling activities to sustain in market. So we have to know from this actually session, what are the techniques, what are different methods of what are importance of that technique that we are going to adopt, and what is purchasing cycle, what is economic order quantity, what is break-even point, and importance of break-even point, application. Am I audible, sir? Am I audible, sir? Gaurav ji?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I am audible. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. So, what are the factors affecting break-even points? And finally, we will just go to summary. So, I am starting my topic. What is a purchase? Actually, what is a purchase? If I say, anybody can say from his own language. Anybody? What do you mean by purchase? Forget about this slide. You can say purchase technique क्या mean करते हैं? Anybody? Anyone? No.
Dear participant, please be interactive. So, sir is asking about the purchase techniques.
Any problem with there? Is it? Anyway, just I am covering then after I will ask. A purchase technique, it refers to, it is a strategy. It is a strategy used by business and for acquiring inventory or goods, for their operations. And the operation may be for consumption, for conversion, or for resale. You see, I am just telling you, if one can purchase for consumption or for conversion. By conversion, I mean to say, whatever you are purchasing and you are just cycling it to some other new product. That means you are utilizing as raw material. So that conversion or for resale, and you may purchase for resale. So three things are there: for consumption, for conversion, or for resale. Okay, then what are other things it covers? It involves process of sourcing. Sourcing मतलब है, sourcing means where to purchase, from where to purchase, what are the sources, and how to negotiate, and how to procure products from suppliers or vendors, particularly wanted by the business house. The business house may want to purchase from a specific supplier, and product he or she has to find the real source. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible. Yes, sir.
So I believe I can explain you what do you mean by purchase, and in purchase क्या purchase में आप purchase करते हैं for consumption, for conversion, or for resale, and you are to find out source, you have to negotiate, you have to procure from a specific supplier vendor if it is required. So anything you want to know more regarding what to denote purchase? Anything? No. So anyway, my sound is, I will do some problem there. So importance of effective purchase. After obvious strategy क्या होना चाहिए? You see, I am doing some more things from this other slide. I'm just going to say that while purchasing, we have to see that we are purchasing economically. we are purchasing effectively, and we are purchasing efficiently. So 3 E's I am telling you: economy, effectiveness, and efficiency. Efficiency. You see, economically you have to purchase, effectively you have to purchase, efficiently you have to purchase. So these three E's I am explaining you. Economically means, what do you mean economically? Means you have to see that you are getting cost advantage. Cost advantage आपको मिलता है, so that you have to see. अच्छा, effective, what is effective purchase? That means you are purchasing at right time. जब आप यूज करने चाहते हैं, during that time that product should be there with you. आपके पास प्रोडक्ट हो जाएगा तो जब आप so it is your effectiveness. What is efficiency? Efficiency means we have to find some supplier efficiently. You see, I am going to here just you have got single source purchase, multiple source purchase, or solo source purchase. Do you just play? I'm explaining you. What is single source? Single source मतलब है, माने you are purchasing from one source permanently, from one source permanently. So that is single source. What is multiple source? There are so many sources. You have to select the source. From where you will get your product or get your material, right? So that is multiple source. And another source is solo source. What is solo source? Solo source means you are using such a material that has got only one seller. That means monopolistic seller. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Are you getting me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So actually, when you are not, because I am feeling that perhaps my tone is not
Yes.
going to you.
Sir, your PPT is not changing.
Okay, just I'm going just without PPT also. Then I'll change.
Okay.
No worry. So anyway, just I'm from PPT. So PPT, this is next PPT is importance of effective purchasing strategies. So here we have given 7 parts. One is cost optimization. What is cost optimization? When you are purchasing at an optimum cost. Optimum matlab your advantageous cost. That means that cost is suitable to you. That means that is economical cost also. Okay, so that is cost optimization. So next is supplier relationship management. You see, you need to purchase throughout all times. So in that case, you have to maintain relationship with your supplier so that your production is not hampered. You see, anytime you need some item from market or from a supplier, so your relationship should be such that he or she will supply you that material in time, in right quantity, in right quality, quantity, and time that you will maintain if you have got good relationships. So next part is inventory management. What is inventory management? You see, you are procuring stocks and you have to keep it with you. आपके पास रखेंगे उसको, and you will not that you are using it on a single day. You will use it slowly and slowly. You will use it. So that means you have to maintain the stores in such a manner that store can be available at your doorstep or a footstep or whenever you need. So that is inventory management, and that means stock you have to keep right stock at right place so that you can just draw that stock without any delay. Right. So next part is quality assurance. While you are preparing some item, so the thing is that under government, I tell you are here and you are talking of startups. So under government, what happens whenever something is purchased, unless the quality test state, payment is not made. That is payment there is a quality assurance is a must. And every year some quality certifier has to certify that whatever materials have been procured, that has been procured correctly and as per the quality we have demanded. Okay. So next part, this is quality assurance. Next fifth point is risk mitigation. Risk mitigation मतलब ये है. So you have to mitigate your risk. माने जितना कम रिस्क होना चाहिए आप परचेस करेंगे for your own use, and so that you see that item should last some days and no risk should be there to utilize this thing. Suppose I am telling you, you are putting explosives. So better is to sound time is double. Anyway, so you are purchasing explosives. Explosives you have purchased, and explosives you are keeping with you, and that has got a specific time. Within that specific time, that has to be used. I say detonator. Detonator is used to blast something. So that has got a time-based lifespan.
Hello. Yes, sir. I think slides are not moving, sir.
Slides
are not moving.
One slide I'm going through. That slide में 7 points are there. So that अभी complete नहीं किया, इसलिए it is not moving. Okay. So risk mitigation. Next point is strategic alignment. Strategically you got. Hello.
सर जो पहला स्लाइड है ना आपका पीपीटी का वो फर्स्ट स्लाइड ही अभी दिख रहा है सर, वो चेंज नहीं हो रहा है.
It is here the changing.
No sir. Sir, you can reshare, sir.
I'm trying.
You can stop the sharing, and again you can share the again.
Again resharing. You are telling resharing.
Just stop sharing, and after that, yes, now it moves. Yes.
Okay. Everything have. Is it coming?
Yes, sir. Currently, slide number 5th. Importance of effective purchasing strategy.
Okay. That is cost optimization, supplier relationship management, inventory management, quality assurance, risk mitigation, strategic alignment. I have already covered. Okay, next part is compliance and ethics. You see, compliance and ethics means you have to purchase ethically. Ethically, matlab you have to maintain ethics in purchasing. Suppose I am telling you, in market you find only one seller at solo source is available. Whatever product he has got, if one purchaser purchases at a time, so it will affect others. So this is the ethical purchase, unethical. So you have to purchase ethically. Ethically matlab as per your requirement and as per the market, as per your need, as per your necessity. Right? So next slide I'm moving. Is it there? Is it there? Types of purchase techniques. What are techniques? You see, in last class mein, Suman sir just he told you JIT, just in time purchasing. You may be remembering because I was there. So he was telling just in time purchasing. You see, just in time is a common wording. Whatever you do, and you do it in time. You do it just in time. If you are not doing just in time, it will not serve the purpose. आपका purpose serve नहीं करेगा if you are not getting it in time. Okay, next part is next type, bulk purchasing. What is bulk purchasing? Bulk purchasing matlab you are purchasing in lump. Are you getting me? Lump. That lump means you are getting maximum. You are getting maximum in excess of the requirement. आपका requirement जितना है, and you are purchasing more. And why it's so? It happens by that you may have your cost economy because you are purchasing lump. You may purchase in less cost, but thing is that with that bulk purchasing you have to be capable of utilizing that in time, right? So next part is group purchasing. What is group purchasing? You see, some purchasers, some number of purchasers, they form a group and they purchase in group. In group means they purchase in large, they purchase in bulk. So that is also economical. It is group purchasing. Clear? So next part is competitive bidding. What is competitive bidding? You see, I am referring government sometimes because to know how government functions. Government solely depends upon this competitive bidding. What is this? As per this purchase rules, the government prescribe किया है, one has to purchase by bringing quotations from market. You see that purchase rule demands that if your purchase is exceeding 20,000, I tell you it is a very small amount, exceeding 20,000 cost, you have come to market, you have to have quotation. So quotations that must be minimum 3 in number, minimum 3 quotations, and those 3 quotations after being collected, one statement is prepared. So from that statement, one has to find out who is L1, lowest 1, lowest 2, lowest 3. Lowest 1 जो होगा, that is lowest 1 so that order will go. Lowest 2 will not get order. Lowest 3 will not get order. Lowest 1 will get order. And in case lowest 1 fails to supply, in that case order may go to lowest 2, L2, L1, L2, L3. So that is the government system. And you see, this system has been made in such a manner that in market you have to find the most economical price. That is the only intention. Economical price you have to get, and you have to purchase with least money. You see, this is one term is there. It is means of propriety. Propriety मतलब है your expenditure should be proper. Suppose you have got money to spend from your own pocket. The mentality you use, the prudence you use to utilize that money, that prudence should be equally in government departments. Government department में वही prudence use होता है, that is competitive bidding बोलते हैं. Okay, fine. So next part is vendor managed inventory. What is vendor managed inventory? Vendor मतलब है vendor managed vendor हैं जो purchase करते हैं, वो inventory manage करते हैं. कैसे manage करते हैं? See, this is one thing is here. You have got one vendor, and you are just purchasing. You are just purchasing from such a vendor that that vendor will take care of you. That means आप जब परचेज करते हैं कोई भी सप्लायर का केयर लेगा, he will take your care if you visit him often, you order him often. That means he is very sure that he is getting order from you, right? So next is e-procurement. What is e-procurement? E-procurement is government has e-marketing. In e-marketing, you need not bother what is the cost. You need not bother who is that man who is selling you, and only just you have to put in government portal. E-marketing portal is there. E-marketing portal is there. Either you just you have registration, and as a registered user, you have got every authority to either purchase or sell through e-marketing. So you have to only when you put some order, you get some list of vendors from whom you can choose. So directly that cost part is of government. So this is e-procurement. Actually, mostly it is for government departments. It is what I feel it is not for you, but you must know what is e-procurement. E-procurement कैसे होता है? It is e-marketing. It is government e-marketing. GEM, that is called GEM. GEM. Government e-marketing. Clear? So anything if you have to ask from this slide? Anybody? No. No. Okay, I'm proceeding next. So next comes your purchasing cycle. When to purchase? आप purchase कब करेंगे? When you recognize the need. So your recognition of need one important part. And one group is there, one person is there, or one team is there. So who record their recognition. And that means they recognize the need. We have to purchase. So next part is description of need. Description of need means so that when you recognize, then you say, you describe your need. Describe your need means your need, where you to utilize, and when you need it. Okay, when you need, where you utilize it, what is your time frame? कितने दिन में यूज करेंगे, कहाँ यूज करेंगे? That is your need, right? Next part is selection of suppliers. So आगे मैं बोल दिया, actually I have told earlier. So now after describing the need, you have to select the supplier. Supplier आपको supply कौन करेगा? Who will supply you? So you see, from market you cannot have your item at any point of time whenever you demand or need. आप जब भी demand करेंगे या need करेंगे, in that time you may not get a supplier. So you have to select a supplier beforehand. So next part is determine the price. You have to determine the price. So you see how you will determine price. आप price determine कैसे करेंगे? Because price is of the supplier who is supplying to you. How you determine? You see, you determine the price, finding different sources of supply. But I mean, you are finding a number of suppliers. You are in a suppliers market. You are there, and you just choose your product in such a manner that you are paying least. That is determining the price. Next is the moment you determine the price, the moment you select the supplier. Next part is you have to issue a PO, that is called purchase order. आपको order एक देना पड़ेगा. You have to give an order to the supplier. So because why this order? Because you see, order is one type of agreement. I am going to purchase from you with this cost, within this time, and this is my condition to pay. How shall I pay? Within how many days? Or whether it is advance I have to pay, like that. That is PO. Which is the PO includes your item, your cost, your modes of payment, and means of delivery, point of delivery, time of delivery. You see, that is PO. Your PO indicates so many things. Okay. So next is that when you prepare a PO, and that PO you are giving this supply you have selected. Okay. So next part is monitoring and follow. Is it that you are getting me, bhai? Are you getting me?
No, sir. Please go ahead.
Right, till this time, if you have got some query, you can ask me, because you see, I believe it is not. I'm not feeling interesting when I'm getting not getting any response or reaction. I'm not getting. So you see, reaction response नहीं मिलने से, so अच्छा नहीं लगता है. So because I found you all very busy with answer, and you have got so many queries. So anyway, this slide bound, I dislike to be slide bound. You can read it, that is enough. But you see, from these slides, some queries, some questions must come. So that is the most important part. So it should come. If it is not coming, means I'm fine. You are not developing interest. So anyway, so I'm I'm going through in a monitoring and follow-up order. So when you are at the PO area, now you have to see your PO is carried out by that supplier. और आपका PO के ऊपर वो action लेते हैं. He taking action on that. So that the supplier is supplying the material. You have product material supplied to you, and you have received that. After receiving that materials, your duty is now to check the quality, check the quantity. आप कितना quantity किया था, कितना quantity आया. You see, here one point I'm going to say you. Purchase in excess of requirement is a very bad practice. It is disastrous for your business. I tell you, आप जब purchase excess करते हैं, उसका मतलब क्या है? Purchase in excess of requirement means you are blocking your fund unnecessarily in inventory that you are not going to utilize. Are you getting me? So purchase in excess of requirement should be avoided. And second point is, you have to purchase the right quantity. That means you won't purchase less. That means if you less purchase करेंगे, so it will create difficulty for you to manage. Your business may not be managed if you are not purchasing in the right quantity. You see, so excess purchase करना या कम purchase करना, both are dangerous. You have to maintain the balance of purchasing. Next, after checking your quality and quantity, now you have to approve the payment to be made to supplier as per your terms and conditions of PO. PO में जो terms बनाया था, you see, in some POs it is being mentioned that will pay you within a week from the date of receiving the order. Suppose if it is the condition, that means 7 days time you are getting. 7 days time you are getting, and this 7 days time you may not pay. That means for the 7 days your working capital will be intact. आपके पास रहेगा, आप पेमेंट नहीं करेंगे. Are you getting me? So next part is, so जब पेमेंट कर देंगे, so that cycle is over now. And the next part again cycle continues. Again you are finding need. Again you are just recognizing something is there. Okay. So now I am coming to strategic purchasing is the process planning. Process of planning, implementing, evaluating, and controlling all purchasing decisions. Excess purchasing or less purchasing in comparison with the need, both are undesirable and disastrous. I have already told you. Companies tend to hold too much of inventory during low demand period and little during period of high demand, and either of these issues create missed opportunity. I am explaining this thing. You see, जब market में rate कम होता है, actually we get tempted to purchase more. And जब market में rate बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, we tempt to purchase less. You see, this is also very This is also not very good opportunity. We have to see how much we require, when we require. Sorry. So what is this economic order quantity? You see, this EOQ or economic order quantity, it is one important part of inventory management. Economic order quantity, actually it is helps organization to manage their inventory. You tell me what is inventory management? Inventory management is a inventory comes, inventory is being issued, and work in progress is being prepared. Final product is there, that is also being stored and being disposed of. Okay, so this what is economic order quantity means how much you have to minimum order per time. So it is a standard formula is there. EOQ is the square root of this standard formula I tell you. Anywhere it can be used. 2 into annual demand into fixed cost per order divided by holding cost per unit per year. I am again repeating it. Square root EOQ, what is economic order quantity? It is square root of 2 into annual demand into fixed cost per order divided by holding cost per unit per year. This is the formula. This standard formula acts everywhere. And how much order economically you have to make. Okay. So we have given one example. Calculate the most economical number of units per order from the following data. Your annual requirement given 38,000 units. Your ordering cost is ₹9 per order. Carrying cost is 15% per unit cost, and cost per unit is ₹4. This problem is there, very easy problem. Given annual requirement, given ordering cost, given carrying cost, and given cost per unit. Okay, I have calculated here. Square root of 2 into 48,000 into 9 divided by 4 into 15%. 15%. Okay, you can calculate and find out. It is coming 1,200 units. That means your economic order quantity is 1,200. You have to purchase minimum 1,200 units. So how many orders? You see, when total order is 48,000 and you have to order for 1,200 units. So that means you have to order 40 times. 40 times. 40 बार ऑर्डर एक साल में आप 40 बार ऑर्डर करेंगे and time frequency per order is 360 days by 40 days is equal to 9 days. That means one order we have to carry out in 9 days. I believe, is it explained? Hello, Gaurav. Hello. 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 Am I audible?
Sir, you are audible,
Hello?
sir.
Yes, sir. So, are you just following this thing, this formula? Formula, are you following? No, any difficulty there? I don't see any difficulty there. This is standard calculation. It is applicable everywhere. Everywhere you have to apply this thing. And this data you take of previous year. आप previous data ले लीजिए. Based upon that, you are calculating data for this year. When current year data, you are calculating based data for previous year. Okay. So I'm proceeding next. So next part is I'm explaining type of purchasing. It is bulk purchasing. What is bulk purchasing? Bulk purchasing refers to buying of goods or materials in large quantities. That is understood. The primary objective of bulk purchasing is to take advantage of economies of scale. Economies of scale मतलब है money means you are getting cost advantage, resulting in cost savings and various advantages for businesses. You see, you are purchasing bulk purchase करते हैं to maintain economy. That is bulk purchasing. What is the advantages is given here? Cost savings, improve profit margin. आपका cost कम हो जाएगा तो profit margin automatically increase. Enhance inventory control. That means आपका inventory control थोड़ा ज्यादा करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि you are getting more. You are getting more. You are getting in excess of your requirement. And also it helps you to maintain relationship with supplier relationship, and also this is good for operational efficiency. That means you आपका operation कभी stop नहीं होगा. For want of materials, आपके पास material हैं, आपका are efficiently you can operate, and this is advantage. Sorry. So how to implement bulk purchasing? You see, some points are there. Some storage capacity. You must have got good storage capacity to store those materials procured in bulk. आप bulk में purchase किया, आप उसको store अच्छी तरह करेंगे, तो आपका storage कोई difficulty नहीं होना चाहिए. If you got storage difficulty, you should not go for bulk purchase. Okay. So next is cash flow management. You see, you are purchasing in bulk. Your money is going out immediately. Your money is going out. Cash is flowing out. So what is in now? So in is your store. And now you can get cash if this store is utilized. Maybe for consumption, maybe for conversion, or maybe for resale. So cash flow. So you see, cash flow आपको करना पड़ेगा. आप कैसा उसको bulk खरीद करके you can't just keep it with you. So its stock should not be idle. It should not be idle stock. Idle stock होने से you are losing forever. You are losing forever, I tell you. And once you are getting idle stock, you see, you have got difficulty in everything. In working capital management, in fund flow operations, in production operations, everywhere you will find difficulty. Okay? So next is market demand and product shelf life. See, I am telling you, one product has got its own life. You see, one product takes birth, it is subject to growth. It may deteriorate. It may die. That means one product may not be there in market forever. एक प्रोडक्ट आप आज लॉन्च किया है, ये प्रोडक्ट का लाइफ कितने दिन तक रहेगा, it is not known, but someday it will go away. Someday it will be zero. And this product value will not be there on someday. Okay, so market demand, you see, you have to see whatever production you are making with this bulk purchase, and you are producing, and your finished product is getting market, is getting sold, so that your cash flow is efficiently cash flow is being done. Okay? So next part is inventory management. You see, this inventory management उसके स्टोरेज का के बाद बोलना चाहिए था. इन्वेंटरी मैनेजमेंट मीन्स आपका आप जो बल्क परचेज किया, यू हैव टू परचेज इन ब्लॉक. द बल्क परचेज जो किया, यू हैव टू सी दैट it is being issued from store in time, in right quantity. It is store is not misused, because आप जब ज्यादा परचेज करते हैं ना, ये देखा जाता है कि अब ज्यादा परचेज करते हैं, आपका स्टोर में भी may be misused. Misused मतलब may not be used in time, may lose its life. So that should be used in time. Though you are purchasing in bulk, you have to see. So next part is supplier relationship. While you are purchasing in bulk, it is naturally attracting your supplier. You see, your supplier will like you, because you are having a lot of investments with him. So that relationship stands. But in long course, that relationship should not mar your business. आप relationship रखेंगे, but ये relationship आपका business को मार नहीं करेगा. That you have to see. Okay. So next part is quality control. So I told you already, quality control मतलब आप bulk purchase किया है, आप जितने दिन तक यूज करेंगे, जितने क्विक यूज करेंगे, उसका क्वालिटी ठीक रहेगा. Suppose you are telling you have purchased 500 bags of cement, 500 bags cement purchase किया, your immediate utilization is 100 bags, 400 bags are in store, and that may not be in store for longer time. It may get flooded. So जब flood हो जाएगा, that cement will lose its lifespan. So that thing, by that you will go to lose. So that means you have to see that your quality is being controlled effectively and efficiently. What is group purchasing? You see, group purchasing matlab, I already told you, in market, so many doing business will entangle to form a group. So आप group form करेंगे, and group purchase करने से you can purchase in bulk, and that is also economical. It is a concept where multiple businesses or organizations come together to leverage their collective buying power to negotiate better prices, better discounts, and terms for the products or services they need. So I believe you see what is leveraging. Leveraging matlab, anybody can say what is leveraging? What do you mean by leveraging? Anyone? आप कोई बोल सकते हैं? No. What is leveraging? What is lever? Lever से leveraging. Liver क्या करते हैं? Liver any difficult task, liver is doing very easily. Okay, so like that, you see, it's a difficult task. You see, one particular business may not go for purchasing in bulk and may not have that cost advantage or economies in scale. If some business houses, they mingle together and they purchase in group, so by that they can avail that benefit of better price, better discount, and better negotiation, right? So next is.
Yeah, I think if somebody is having X amount of requirement, another is having Y amount of requirement, and the third person is having 10X requirement. So one is having X, one is having Y, and another is having 10X. So in that case, the person who is having only X requirement, if all these three people join together, so what is happening is that the entire amount will be clubbed together, and when they go to the market to buy, obviously they will be getting a much bigger discount that will benefit all of the member organizations. So that is kind of leveraging. That is, I think, what is we can say that it.
Very right. Yes, because the benefit is reaching all. Reaching all.
Yes.
You are
And
less,
means suppose everyone may not have the same requirement. Somebody will have less requirement. That is one aspect. The other aspect is if you are going to the market with a huge volume, obviously you will get a discount, bigger discount than if you go to the market with a smaller volume. So that way, both ways you are going to gain. Yeah.
Right. So it is a win-win situation. It is a win-win for both the parties. And the source from where you are purchasing, that particular supplier, he will also take it very sincerely, very seriously to supply his materials to you.
Yeah, his growth in revenue also will be commensurate because he will also supply it. So
yes. Okay. Somehow you're getting everything. That is everything. So it involves forming a group of joining an existing group. That is GPO. This is called GPO in our language, Group Purchasing Organization. That means we some people will just we mingle together. We form a group, and that will pool their purchasing volumes, thereby increasing their bargaining power with supplier vendors. आप जितना ज़्यादा purchase करेंगे, by that you are going to increase your bargaining power. Bargaining power आपका ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, automatically हो जाएगा. Okay. So and that supplying firm, so you will naturally accept the bargains. Thank you.
But does this really happen in private organizations where it is competitiveness between two entities? So because what will happen is that if the competitor comes to know what is the requirement of that particular organization, so he will be at a weaker position rather than if we have different end products and whereas the raw materials we need may be similar, then maybe the competitiveness may not affect. Otherwise, if they are, in case of government organization, obviously, ultimately the ownership lies with the government. That's a different thing. But if they are private organizations, does this particular group thing happen? I'm not very aware about it. How does it really work? Because
it happens provided if you maintain your group cohesion. If your group cohesion is there, you see, suppose you are in Bangalore, and in one place, in one market, you have got 4 different suppliers, and you are just very adjacent to each other. You see, when product comes, कोई difficulty किसके लिए नहीं आएगा. No one will face difficulty in bringing that or in issuing that or in utilizing that. So in that case, only it happens actually. But thing is that this needs your mindset. How you apply your mindset, because you see cost advantage मिलना it is good for all and is beneficial for all. So economically, and your profit will increase. So may not be that you may not compete among yourselves if you are utilizing same product, and having different finished products. You see, एक product use करके different finished product आ सकता है. When situation is like that, तो उधर कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगा. So where actually from one material से आप जो finished product आप बनाते हैं, that is equal. So in those cases only, this group person may not work actually.
Yes, that's what actually I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Group person may not work actually. So
Yes,
you have to see that in that case, you see, that means when cost advantage is there, na, people will be tempted to mix with you. But thing is that if you all are not competitors, आप लोग competing नहीं करते हैं, so in that case only you write in the page.
Yes.
Right. So there are some examples जिसको ये जरूर आपके लिए नहीं है. Health care के कौन है, United States में. So it is because startup of we are doing it in India, it is not required for us. Competitive bidding. You see, it is a procurement method in which multiple suppliers or vendors submit the proposals or bids to compete for a contract or project. Suppliers multiples हैं, बहुत suppliers हैं. वो लोग proposal देते हैं, you see, वो लोग supply करने के लिए giving proposals. They are giving proposals, and we are receiving the proposals to finalize one supplier. This is competitive bidding. So it involves requesting bids from suppliers. You see, आपको ये देखा होगा जब कोई what civil contracts, you must have seen civil contracts. You see, expression of request, RFP, request for proposal. You must have seen some notice in newspaper. Request for proposal, RFP. Request for proposal means you are just putting one notice in newspaper that these things we need, and these are our cost base. So that is request for proposal. आप proposal invite करते हैं from suppliers. That means suppliers, you are not coming to suppliers. Suppliers are coming to you. RFP. Okay. It involves requesting bids from potential suppliers and comparing their offers. I told you earlier, L1, L2, L3, comparing their offers based on various criteria such as price, quality, delivery time, and other terms. मैंने सप्लायर आपको बीड देता है, वो लिखता है कि आपका उसका प्राइस कितना है, कितने में सप्लाई करेगा, कितना क्या क्वालिटी उसका है, क्या डिलीवरी टाइम है, एंड क्या टर्म्स कंडीशंस है. दैट इज अच्छा. Okay, the purpose of competitive bidding is to ensure transparency, fairness, and value for money in the procurement process. VFM. You see, value for money is a term. It is used everywhere. VFM. आपको मनी का वैल्यू को देखना पड़ेगा. आपका your money will fetch that much of value that you usually need. May not you need more, but for that you usually need. आपका money कितना value fetch करेगा, that you have to see, you have to determine, and based upon that you have to initiate actions. आप action initiate करेंगे, आपका money कितना value fetch करेगा, that is important. So procurement process में आपका you have to see what is the value for money. Okay. Second advantage is very clear. It is cost savings, transparency and fairness, supplier evaluation you are making. Directly you have got option to evaluate suppliers. कौन supplier कैसे हैं? So how they will just they will put your order. अच्छा, quality and innovation, risk mitigation से advantages हैं. That is completely already I have told you earlier. So आपका risk mitigate करेगा, आप quality establish करेगा. You can establish your suppliers, and it is a long-term process. And you transparency and fairness will be observed, and your cost savings will be there. How competitive bidding is implemented? It is clearly defined requirement. आपका requirement क्या है? Clearly show कराता है. So it is not that you can change it afterwards, and you can have your business in competitive environment. You can have every means to evaluate your supplier with your criteria. You can evaluate the bid. You can contract negotiation. You see, why negotiation? I am telling you, this negotiation is a very dangerous term, I tell you. In government, in the name of negotiation, people earn maximum in the name of negotiation. मतलब ये है, तो किसी का कॉस्ट है 1 लाख रुपीस, वो नेगोशिएट कर देंगे 1,20,000 पर यूनिट. So जो 20,000 एक्स्ट्रा है ना, that they will share, you know. But in startups, in business, this thing is not there. But thing is that negotiation is there when you are to finalize a supply, you finalize a contract. Finally, with a specific rate, that rate should match to you and match to your supplier. आपको match करेगा, you will get benefit, and supplier also will get benefit. So based upon that, you can negotiate the contract. Okay, sir. Anything you want to say? Anything? No. Vendor managed inventory. You see, आपका storage facility, say you have not got that good storage facility. आपका storage facility अच्छा नहीं है कि आप inventory store नहीं कर सकते for long time or in bulk. So ये होता है कि during that time you have to find some inventory vendor who manage your inventory. The vendor will manage your inventory. Vendor आपका inventory को manage करेगा. So that means say items will be with that vendor. He will supply you as and when you demand. That means as if you are storing that item with you, and whenever you demand, vendor will supply. And vendor should be that capable to supply you in time, as per your demand, as per your need. Okay. So anyway, it is vendor managed inventory. You can find out such type of vendors are available in market, though manage your inventory. So it is a business model in which a supplier or vendor is responsible for managing and replenishing inventory levels at a customer's location. Sorry. So vendor will manage the inventory maybe at your location, or maybe at his location, or maybe at a specified location that is suitable to you. That means the location that is acceptable to you, that is suitable to you, vendor will manage that thing. And you need to bother for storing. Storage के लिए आप बदल नहीं करेंगे. Am I clear? Am I clear? No. कुछ तो बोलना पड़ेगा ना, अब कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे तो कैसे होगा? So not speaking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
So thing is that is it that you are getting expansion from me? No. No, any difficulty is there? You see, because to teach in government and teach in private, this are two different things. In government, something is there, it is already fixed. With you, it is not fixed, I tell you. So, आपको थोड़ा तो manage. Actually, I am managing myself, but thing is that response मुझे मिलना पड़ेगा. If I am not getting response, so instead of the customer placing orders and managing inventory themselves, the vendor takes on the responsibility of monitoring stock levels. When vendor stock को monitor करते हैं, it monitors stock at his level, replacing products. मैंने आपको product देते हैं and ensuring the availability of goods at the customer side. आपको यही जानता होगा because FR delivery. What is FR delivery? FR delivery. FR delivery means the product will be at your doorstep. That means cost is being made in such a manner that the vendor or the supplier includes everything to make the stock reach at your point in that cost. So that is, you see, so that is for delivery. So the thing is that here it is also like that. आपका customer site में product out आ जाएगा, in time आ जाएगा, whenever it is demanded. EMI is commonly used in supply chain management to improve efficiency and streamline inventory management process. Supply chain management means what the supply chain, supply is going on. It's going on in chain by A to B, B to C, C to D, like that. Where good supply is there, or varieties, A B को देगा, B C को देगा. So where this thing is there, that thing is that is fixed. A will give to B, B will give to C, C will give to D. So there, this management is very much actually essential required, and it helps. Advantages: reduce stock outs. Stock outs means आपका stock out तो थोड़ा कम होगा. थोड़ा कम होगा मतलब means you are getting direct from that. Improved efficiency. Efficiency improve करेगा. Lower inventory holding cost मतलब है you are managing stock, managing store. So for that you have to incur some money. You have to have a godown. You have to have some people. You have to give electricity. So that thing, that जो expenditure है, so expenditure कम हो जाएगा. Lower inventory holding costs. आप स्टोर करेंगे, इसके लिए जितना खर्चा होगा उसका और रिड्यूस हो जाएगा. Okay. So next part, enhanced collaboration and communication. You see, you can collaborate more and you can communicate more, and that is, you see, collaboration and communication
Yes,
are two terms. That is, Golock ji, anything you want to say?
अच्छा. अच्छा.
Golock ji. Okay.
ठीक है सर,
Collaboration
बस
and
एक
communication.
ईमेल
Collaboration and
पूरा
communication.
खत्म ही होने वाला है सर, इसके बाद मैं आपको कराता हूँ. जी जी ठीक.
So these two terms, being business, collaboration and communication are two effective terms. You have to collaborate, you have to communicate to efficiently do your business. These are some challenges are there with BMI. Or data sharing and integration. You see, आपका data you are sharing. You see, आजकल in current terms, you see, data sharing is always risky. You see, one supplier is knowing that this much store you require at this time. At this time, if any time one promise is failing, so that will automatically affect your everything. So loss of control. So actually, you have now got no control on your that, and increased dependency on the vendor. You have to depend heavily on the vendor. That means you have to be with the mercy of vendor. Vendor का mercy में करेंगे. Vendor का mercy ये है कि वो आपको supply करेगा, that is promised, that is on record. But वो actually at some point of time he may say I am not going to supply, or I have got some difficulty in supplying. So that will affect you. That will affect you. So increased dependency, आपका dependency जितना increase होगा, vendor उतना advantage draw करेगा. But at least the vendor will get more advantage from you if you increase more. E-procurement, already I have told you. Electronic procurement is the process of purchasing goods, services, and supplies using electronic platforms and technologies. I told you GEM, government e-marketing, GEM, government e-marketing. So it involves the use of digital systems and internet-based technologies to automate and streamline procurement activities, including requisitioning, sourcing, ordering, and payment process. You see, you need not do anything. इसका कोई एक्टिविटीज आपका रिक्वेशन जरूरत नहीं है, प्रोक्यूशन डॉक्यूमेंट जरूरत नहीं, पेमेंट ऑर्डर की जरूरत नहीं, आपको वन टाइम दे दिया, and that is final. You are getting your item in time, and government is taking everything. So actually, thing is that this e-procurement offers organizations a more efficient and cost-effective way to manage their procurement operations compared to traditional manual methods. अब traditionally आप जो काम करेंगे, that work will be done by government for you, and for no cost. You are only paying the cost and sitting idle, and your thing will come to you in time, in quantity, rightly or demanded. E-marketplace, I told you, GEM. E-auctions is the electronic auctioning. That is now being done in private also. Electronically, you are auctioning that in this process. So nothing will just nothing will affect your auction, and everything will be transparent. People will know what actually you are doing and to whom we are pushing the order. That is e-auction. So now I am coming to breaking point. You see, this is also a point of our discussion. आप purchase क्यों करते हैं? You see, I am telling you, you have purchased 100 units. आप purchase किया 100 units at the rate of 5 rupees. Say. So that means you are incurring 500 rupees, okay, and you are selling that material for say 8 rupees, okay. When 8 rupees you are selling it, so whatever material or procurement you have got, so at the point of 500, at the point you reach, your cell level is reached 500. So you are equalizing percentage and cell. At the point you are reaching 500. So where you are reaching your percentage plus your contingencies, it is equal to cell. The point is your break-even point. You see, after that point, if you proceed, आप जितना sell करेंगे, that will raise your revenue. That means you have to know what is your break-even point. But at what point you are going to break even? So break-even point refers to the level of sales or production volume at which a company's total revenue equals its total cost. जितना cost incur करते हैं, if you are getting that much of revenue, that point of time, it is a break-even point, and beyond that, any sale you make, any stock you have, any working progress you have, everything is on profit. Your gross profit is increasing now. Are you getting me? So, resulting in neither profit nor loss. At the break-even point, there is no net income or net loss. At that means no profit, no loss point is break-even point. Why break-even points? Why we need break-even points? You see, from BEP, we can have pricing decision. You see, when we know this point is at BEP, we can know how much stock is at our level it is there, how much finished goods is there to be sold. You see, so basing upon that, we can just fix our pricing. So you see, BEP point आपको पता होगा means you can take a good decision how to price the products. Next, it helps in cost management. So it is managing the cost, to manage your cost. Manage your cost, you see, that is one kind of pricing. That is pricing. Investment decisions. Based upon BEP, you can decide how much to invest. So आप invest कितना करेंगे, आप investment कितना होगा, so that you can get optimum profit. Profit optimum कब होगा, जब आपको पता होगा आपका BEP कहाँ है. Where is your BEP? Impact of changes in sales volume, cost structure, or pricing on profitability. How to calculate break-even points? You see, this is actually, it is not that much of importance, but actually you should know the point where you are incurring no profit or no loss, so that beyond that point, if you make business, you are getting more profits. So that only thing is that you have to know that point. So where you are just getting, you are getting to manage your expenditure. To calculate break-even points, you need to consider fixed cost. आपका fixed cost क्या है, variable cost क्या है, and the contribution margin. Okay, the contribution. What is the contribution margin? Contribution margin is the difference between the sell price per unit and the variable cost per unit. Sell price per unit, कितना price हम sell करते हैं, and उसका variable cost क्या है. The formula for calculating break-even point in units is BEP in units. At what units you are going to break even? Fixed cost per contribution margin per unit. Fixed cost per contribution margin per unit. Just a small formula, just I'm telling you. the formula for calculating break-even point in sales revenue. You see that I am trying to break-even point in units. When you at what units point, the business will break even. Second formula is calculating break-even point in sales revenue. When what is the sales revenue at that point, we are going to break even. So break-even point in sales revenue is equal to fixed cost upon contribution margin ratio. So इतना ये वही है जो आप एक जरूरी था इधर. नहीं जस्ट आप कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो बोलता हूँ. So आप इसमें बीपी प्राइसिंग डिसीजन, सेल्स फोरकास्टिंग, आप सेल्स फोरकास्ट कर सकते हैं. इवैल्यूएटिंग प्रोडक्ट लाइन्स और सर्विसेज, कॉस्ट मैनेजमेंट, यू आर मैनेजिंग कॉस्ट, scenario analysis, how your product faces the market, sensitivity analysis. You see, from requirements you can know customers demand more or less. Investment decisions, so you can take investment decision, how to invest, how much to invest, and when to invest. It helps in business planning. Which factors BEP को affect करते हैं? You see, fixed cost, variable cost, sales price. Fixed cost is fixed, so that cannot be changed. Variable cost को आप control कर सकते हैं, and जितना variable cost control करेंगे, उतना आपका margin कम हो जाएगा. Then you are getting sales price. And you see operating efficiency, this is a factor. Sales mix, आप क्या क्या item mix करेंगे? You see, you are making 3 products A, B, C. आप A कितना करेंगे, B कितना करेंगे, C कितना करेंगे, so that you will break even. You see A का cost, B का cost and C का cost. These costs are different. आप कैसे उसको product produce करेंगे so that आप break even point आपका quick आ जाएगा. Variable cost, I told you already. Seasonality, actually इस कौन सा टाइम में क्या सेल होता है, it has got seasonality. It actually winter में आप winter dress, winter garment you can sell. This winter garment cannot be sold in summer. So जितना winter garments आप summer में बनाएंगे, तो आपका सेल कभी नहीं होगा. Okay, so that is seasonality you have to see. Competition. Naturally, competition, it affects, it is a factor. Technological advancement. You see, your product, your manufacturing, so आपका product से एक अच्छा product और एक फार्म बनाए हैं, so it is natural that your product will get less market and that product will get upper market, so you will suffer in that way.
Actually, in the previous slide, we had the sales forecast. The break-even point helps in sales forecast. ये थोड़ा सा complicated है because break-even point, okay, you calculate, you know the break-even point. लेकिन sales को forecast करना based on break-even point, ये तभी मेरे ख्याल से पॉसिबल हो सकता है जब आप सेल्स मिक्स आप देख रहे हैं, मतलब डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स अगर आप बेच रहे हैं, देन यू कैन थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ चेंजिंग द वॉल्यूम्स ऑफ ऑल द डिफरेंट प्रोडक्ट्स. दैट मे बी द बैकग्राउंड बिहाइंड दिस सेल फोरकास्ट. जस्ट प्रीवियस स्लाइड में आपने दिखाया, कैन वी गो बैक टू द प्रीवियस स्लाइड? नो 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 no 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 no, it is, you're going to, yeah, the sales forecasting, the sales application of BEP को लेके हम sales forecasting जब कर रहे हैं, I mean, how are we doing that? Of course, I can now understand once I see the next slide, but before that I really couldn't understand. ये sales हम forecast कैसे कर रहे हैं BEP के basis पे?
Yes, I'm just coming to. So you have, I told you next slide, it is A, B, C, 3 products हैं.
हाँ, वो
So
next
that
slide
is
आने से दोनों को मिला के फिर we can.
Still with single product also, you can have forecast case. I'm telling you. Suppose I told you already, purchase, it may be for resale, it may be for conversion, it may be for consumption. Consumption part भूल जाइए. You come to conversion part. Conversion part में क्या आता है कि you are a raw material, you are bringing raw material, processing it, getting finished product. Suppose you are getting one finished product and you know your break-even points. Break-even point मतलब जब आपको पता हो गया, this is your break-even points. So now you know that this much of purchase will fetch this revenue. Specifically at that point, if you stop your business also, you are not getting anything, you are not losing anything. But at that point of time, you are finding this much of finished goods at your disposal. With you, this much of finished goods are there. You see, so I told you sales forecasting. So जब sales forecasting part आता है, this finished products that are with me now, after knowing the break-even points, so based upon that quantity, I should forecast whether I can sell it or not.
Acha, that means okay. I think I got it. I mean, if you can track when your business reaches the break-even point, how much time it takes. I mean, depending on your sales volume, with respect to what rate it is happening. From that, you can do a trend analysis, and then you can do the sales forecast, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Not only this thing only, one more thing also is there. You see, you are getting finished product, you are having work in progress, that also will yield you, and you are having closing stock, maybe raw materials, maybe input like that. So that means so many things are there with you. So you can have a forecast. Forecast means you are just forecasting this much sell I may make. So that will make you in a comfortable position, I tell you. If you feel comfortable, you see, in August,
Actually, my doubt was, I mean, how is the break-even point helping us to do the sale? That was my doubt. But I think I can understand that. I mean, the rate at which the sales is growing to reach the break-even point, it can tell us that from that trend, we can have a safe guess about what could be the sales volume in the future. I think that's one way. And the second one way is from your next slide, from the different product mix, means sales mix. That also we can do. I think two parts can be done. I think, yeah. Okay.
Somehow, just you see, one thing I'm telling you, जब कोई question आप raise करते हैं ना, naturally we have got scope to apply in my mind. When you see this slide study, I believe it is not a good way of taking a session. You see, slide means I am confined because I have got this much of slide with me. Those slides I have prepared, so I am confined me with all these slides. And at the time I use this slide, I am not using my mind. Mind ज़्यादा use नहीं होता है. Whenever you are asking some question, then I am getting some scope to use my mind. I am just going to give a reply. So it is a better if you all react. We all react or react with all session. So that is a good thing. So this I covered up. Case study, I am not giving case study, time is not there. Somebody. So I am in last slide, I reached there. So now just I want to ask you, आपका actually कोई दिक्कत हुआ, you see, because a government person, I tell you, it is something different from a private person, because while working with government for about 35-36 years, we have found some other things that is not required for you all. Here I tell you, because a startup is something different. So anyway, so choice of purchase technique can impact the break-even point. Efficient purchase techniques such as JIT, just in time, vendor managed inventory, can help optimize costs and inventory levels, thereby potentially reducing the break-even point. तो आप जितना उसको ऑब्जर्व करेंगे, break-even point जितना कम होते जाएंगे, you will get more profits. By streamlining procurement processes and minimizing excess inventories, businesses can improve cost management, lower variable costs, and enhance overall profitability. So I believe anything you want to ask me, I am very much hopefully I have covered my slides, not that my session. मैं स्लाइड्स कवर कर दिया, अच्छी तरह स्लाइड्स कवर कर दिया, और स्लाइड कवर करना एनफ नहीं है, but somehow when you do work in practical situation, you will find some other problems. You see theoretical study and practical में some difference is there, but yet it acts because आपका कुछ idea होगा तो आप उसको you can utilize in your function, in your action. Anyway, anything you want to say, you can ask me. I'm there with you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for the informative talk. So, dear participant, if you have any query, please unmute yourself and you can discuss with our speaker.
Okay.
So, I think, sir, there is no query.
Okay. Because all are feeling bored because lots time is there.
No, sir.
So,
no, sir. Your presentation was not boring.
Anything you want to say?
Participant, you can unmute yourself. I am very thankful to Pradipta Kumar Das sir ji to make the interactive session. So anyone, if you want to ask related to break-even point or anything, okay. So there is no query, sir.
Okay then.
Okay. So
because you all have taken actually a lot of time.
Thank you for this wonderful talk, sir. We are very grateful to have you as a keynote speaker. We are very thankful you have accepted our invitation and joined this 4-week technology-based entrepreneurship development program sponsored by the Department of Science and Technology. So kindly accept the e-memento on behalf of Golock University. I am very fortunate to offer you the e-memento, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So, dear participant, I have sent the link of feedback form. You have to fill out the feedback form. It will be open for 3 hours. So, you just fill out the feedback form link. And thank you so much for being with us. Still, if you have any query, you can unmute yourself and ask. Sir, the participant is posting in the group chat.
Okay.
Yes. They all are very thankful to you for the informative and wonderful session.